What's up, people?
This is Drew.
This is Jacob. And that's Drew, apparently.
Yeah, that's how we're doing this tonight,
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's St. Patrick's Day, and neither one of us get to pinch the other.
No, because we're both wearing...
Which is a very smart thing.
Yes. I think we were both ahead of each other at some point. It was like, wear green, wear green. Okay, good.
Yeah. We are on the same page.
The question is, do you have family that's from Scotland?
Scotland?
Yeah, Scotland or Ireland. Ireland, that's what I meant to say. Ireland.
Scottish back there.
Yeah, I do too.
And McKinnon.
Oh, okay.
I can trace it that far back.
Oh, okay.
I can't do the accents much longer without sounding racist, but
I can go back
because I could already feel what little Scottish I can do already fading.
Yes,
from my capabilities.
I've got a lot of Scottish in me, which is the Scottish or Irish. No, it's Scottish. It is the Anderson clan on my mother's side, and I know there's some Irish there. There's some Irish on my father's side. So yeah, like one of my dear beloved coworkers said, be like, yeah, my family's most of it is Scottish or Irish. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like you pinch me, be like, I'm gonna beat you, because apparently her grandmother was full Irish. It was like, right. Yeah, no. It's like, you don't have to wear green. You're Irish.
YouTube and Facebook are live. I'm now checking Twitch.
Sweet.
Just to let you know, because while you were talking, I was just going ahead and looking this stuff up.
Fair. No.
Apparently, I don't have Twitch set up on my tablet here.
Ruh-roh.
But we are live.
Good.
I did get there finally. So yes, we will be getting started soon. Okay. Documents.
Get to the Facebook. Get to the chopper. Or get to the page. It's not there yet.
There's some funny things I noted when I was going through the cast list.
Oh, really?
Really?
Huh. Fascinating. There we are. Not on my page. Not on Jacob's Daily Art Corner, but on my page.
Well, I mean, you can share it there too, I guess. But
I could.
Always
Coca-Cola. Bow, wow, 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 wow.
And I listened to the final episode of Henshin Men today.
Really?
Since it came out today.
Right.
And heard my 7 to 8 minute cameo on there.
Yeah.
That was a good way to end that show.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because Henshin Men is what I would know as Mask Rider.
Okay, so Henshin Men actually is a podcast.
Well, yeah, I know that, but the series
for the most part, what he's reviewed on there has been the original Kamen Rider. So technically, no, because the Masked Rider that you are aware of is an adaptation of Kamen Rider Black RX.
Oh, okay.
From the late 80s.
Oh, okay.
I think I've got that timetable right. Anyway.
But it's just just more in the
same franchise.
Same franchise, same vein. Right. Okay.
This was the original show featuring the characters of Takeshi Hongo and Hayato Injimonji, which I probably I know I said that last name wrong.
Oh, okay.
Hayato.
Got it.
I can't tell by looking at it how you're supposed to say that last name. And I don't, if they said it in the show, it was really fast and mixed in with a lot of other words, so I couldn't separate it.
I gotcha.
But it's the first time, the first Kamen Rider show they did. It's split into about 4 separate arcs. And a lot of cases, you can tell when you're watching the show, they really were only planning ahead by maybe 5 episodes.
Fair.
Because they make a lot of 90-degree turns anytime something happens. They got the 13 episodes having the actor who played Takeshi, the first Kamen Rider, be the guy in the suit doing the stunt work.
Yeah.
Till he got injured.
That's right.
And then they had to film a couple episodes without him, but find ways to make it work. Then they brought in the actor who plays Hayato to play another half, which brings you into the second half. Then Hongo comes back and does the third and fourth half. The fourth half reason we switched is because they changed out the evil organization Shocker to Gel Shocker. And all the monsters, instead of just being based on a single animal, are based on weird combinations. And the episodes I reviewed was during the Gel Shocker era, which had some interesting monster designs, let's say. Like Rat Condor.
Okay.
Combination of a rat and a condor.
Okay.
A flying rat.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say he's Batman. Except Batman was in episode 2.
Jeez.
Spider-Man was in episode 1.
Wow. Just wow.
And Scorpion was in episode 3, except they called him Scorpion Man. But you have some other weird ones in there. It's a silly show.
Of course.
But it's a fun show. It's fun just because you're looking at it going, what crazy crap are they throwing at us this week? Oh, look, it's the children of the Shockhorn. They're going to try and force these kids to learn Shocker from an early age, if that's not a scary thought right there, by brainwashing them into believing in and Hongo and Hayato have to stop Shocker from doing this. And they did it 3 times.
Jeez.
The third one being the episode I was there for, which meant because it was the Gel Shocker era, and one of the differences between the Shocker Goons and the Gel Shocker Goons is all the Gel Shocker Goons are on a drug that if they don't keep taking the drug once a day, they explode. And they decide they're going to feed this to the kids so that they're following, they're supposed to be Gel Shocker Goons now. And of course, they're the kids making up these Gel Shocker kids. They're from the Kamen Rider Kids Club, literally, or a group of kids that the Kamen Rider team decided to recruit to help them fight Gel Shocker.
Okay.
Guess what happens nearly every week?
A kid gets
kidnapped. Or something bad happens to a kid, and so they have to call Kamen Rider in. And do you know what their preferred method of communication is?
I don't know.
What would you think?
Help! I'm being kidnapped.
No. How would if you saw something going down? What would you do to report it to someone you think could stop it? Bear in mind that person's not in front of you.
Call somebody.
You mean use a telephone?
Yeah, use a telephone.
Which definitely would have been available in the 1970s.
Yes.
That's not their plan.
Do they?
They use carrier pigeons.
What?
Which was real fun during Operation Pet, which is what Gel Shocker called it, where they decided on had 2 different things that occurred, but the second one was the one that was the best was the one where they had these canaries. Or there was this canary that Shocker was sitting on, and he could turn into a monster and attack people.
Yeah.
Guess how the canary monster got into Rider HQ? Through the port with the carrier pigeons. And I'm still wondering, considering this show, why is it when they opened the door where they found the canary, was there not a dead pigeon next to it?
Can anybody explain this?
No.
Anyone?
Nobody.
What the fudge? Well,
it's a goofy show. Okay?
No kidding.
This is what this entire concept is what Sentai grew out of, because Sentai was created by the same guy who created Kamen Rider.
Yes.
So except Kamen Rider is actually supposed to be a dark story. Supposed to be. Hi, Artsy. We're just yakking over here. How are you doing? Yes, we love this movie too. That's why we're looking forward to talking about it here in a minute.
Very, very much a classic when it comes to your childhood. Be like,
there's so much cool information about this.
Oh my gosh, yes. And sadly, there was never a third one, or never will be in the third one.
there's not going to be a third one because the main actress died in 1995.
Mm-hmm. And apparently this was her last performance she did.
Her last film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, her last performance period. I don't think
Yeah.
she did any TV after
No,
this.
she didn't do anything after that. This was 1990. Yeah, this was 1990.
Yeah, 90.
Yeah,
and then
90.
she died in 95.
Yeah, she died 5 years
There
later.
were plans for a Rescuers 3.
Yeah, in 96.
So after she died, they
scrapped it.
Scrapped plans in there. We'll never get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I do think Bob Newhart's getting a little up there in age. I don't think he can pull this off anymore.
No.
I think if he's not retired, he kind of needs to. Not because I don't like Bob Newhart. I love Bob Newhart. He's hilarious. But he's getting old. He's got to want to retire sometime. As many movies and television shows that he has to be getting royalties from.
Yeah.
He ought to be able to live quite comfortably.
He's 93 years old now.
Right.
Yeah.
So he needs, I hope he is taking it easy is what I'm saying.
Yes.
As I go to IMDb right now to find out if he's actually acting in anything recently. More recent than Elf.
Well, then you have oh, come on. Oh, he's like 96. He's the same age, like 96 years old, and like dances his little head off. Oh, come on.
I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Same era actress, Mary Poppins.
You mean Dick Van Dyke?
Dick Van Dyke, thank you. I couldn't think of his name for some reason.
He's slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
So,
but he's still active.
Yeah, he has done some acting in TV shows. It looks like it's, for the most part, it's nothing huge, except for like reoccurring roles he had beforehand. But the two big ones are the two shows that are Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, where he's playing the same character because he played like his character played a character on a TV show Sheldon liked as a kid, like one of these science programs like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay.
And apparently he's played that character on some episodes of Young Sheldon and played the actor playing that character on Big Bang Theory. But he has appeared in quite a number of stuff since
you just can't keep some good actors down.
Well, I'm sure these are not exactly complicated, hard roles.
No, but it's more the idea of keeping the art alive.
And in a lot of cases, he's still playing Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly, he knows how to play his role, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. They're playing into his strengths of what kind of character actor he is.
Have you actually heard any of his stand-up?
No, I haven't.
I will send you some links because his stand-up is funny.
Oh, okay.
It's dated because it's like 70s.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he still talks about riding the train on the normal.
Right.
As if that's something you could do everywhere and not just, the 7 Amtrak routes that are still available if you're not in New York. He talks about how you can tell that they don't want him there because he's afraid of flying, hence the joke in these two movies about Bernard being afraid of flying.
That makes sense now because I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's afraid of flying. He wants to take the train everywhere. Good luck on your way to Australia. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, let's take the train.
Yeah, maybe.
You ready to start?
Let's take the train from another film that we've done very early on that you didn't like.
Oh, Anastasia.
Yeah.
Anastasia.
Anastasia. Great.
Well, I somehow did not mess up the Anna thing during Frozen 2, which I had no idea how I did that. Because I knew I was going to at some point.
Yeah.
We would joke about it, and
yes,
it never happened.
Nope, it didn't.
But now I've got a third name I could confuse in there because I've watched Spy Family, and that main character's name is Anya.
Oh, gosh.
So Anya. Good night. That's what that film needs, is a third sister who's psychic.
Oh my gosh.
The normal sister, the ice sister, and the psychic sister.
Or the fire sister.
10-1, Frozen 3, we're going to find out Anna has fire powers.
or it's
and we'll find
or-
out by her
or-
accidentally burning down Castle Arendelle.
or just the theory, just a podcast theory.
A Disney theory.
There we go, Disney theory. That I've seen this circulated that it could be possibly like a prince or a king from another kingdom who has ice powers or fire powers.
Mhm.
So it's be like ice versus fire, kind of a Avatar, the Last Airbender kind of thing.
Well, we did start off with ice. Next would be the Earth Kingdom.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're not kidding.
And then the Fire Kingdom.
The Fire Nation.
Yes. Because, everything was okay until the Fire Nation attacked Arendelle. Still curious how that works with Tangled. Because hair powers was not in Avatar.
No, it's not.
Or, well, hang on. It's not technically hair powers. It's flower power.
It's flower power. Technically, it's flower power. Clip this, please. You're welcome, patrons.
You just thought we were done talking about Tangled after we reviewed the movie.
Nope.
After we reviewed the entire television series. Actually, no, because we still have another review of Tangled to do.
We haven't done the short
yet.
yet.
Rewind.
Yeah.
And we've got Tangled Ever After.
That is true.
Because now we can actually watch Tangled Ever After without having to find a Blu-ray somewhere. Because they put it on Disney Plus finally, which they didn't have up there when we first started doing Tangled. And Wheeler says, how are we going to make that work? Says, well, it's at the end of the series. We won't have to worry about it until then. Maybe something will change. And it did. Of course, part of that was because of the fact that I took a year break from actually doing any Tangled TAS episodes because I got lazy.
It happens.
But we got that going again.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho.
Yes. Since we're now doing X-Men the animated series.
Remind me to ask you something. No, we can ask it now.
Okay.
At some point, we have to review Pride of the X-Men.
Oh, yes.
You want to do that before we hit Evangelion or wait?
I would say before.
Okay, so as soon as we finish X-Men, but before we hit Ava.
Yes, before we hit Ava.
Gotcha. This is how we decide things. I present options and he picks one.
Ooh, which one?
Not always.
Not always. No.
Because sometimes says, hey, I've got an idea. Okay, what's the idea? What if we did this? Okay, sure, we could do that and put it up for a vote. I'm not kidding. A lot of times,
it's not. Believe me.
I just say, why don't we do this? And he says, sure, let's put it up for a vote for our people in the Facebook group. And I'm going, why can't we just pick one? And I was like, okay,
because
fine.
we
We'll
want
put
the
it up for a
people
vote.
to
We
decide.
We do want audience interaction. And since no one will email us,
hit, nudge.
nudge, nudge.
Again, you're welcome, patrons.
At least
and
respond,
Artsy.
at least, yeah, Artsy, because she's actually in our chat right now.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's nice being able to talk to somebody besides the Scuba. I like talking to the Scuba.
Thanks.
Otherwise, we couldn't have a podcast.
Yeah, because that'd be kind of awkward. Be like, it's like, yeah, this guy over here I don't talk to at all.
Yes. Good night. For a time there, we were seeing each other every night.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. Oh my gosh.
Because we had Sunday night Bible study.
Yeah.
Monday was our break.
Yeah.
From each other. Then Tuesday for the show at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday for church because this was before COVID, so we actually had dinner at the church.
Yeah, agreed.
Because at church you go to one thing up there, and then I go to choir practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thursday for Thursday night singles Bible study.
Right.
And then we had Friday and Saturday where we didn't see each other.
Yeah.
So unless we were guest hosting on something.
Which was most of the time.
Well, not all.
No, wait a minute. It was there were
Fridays.
points. Yeah.
During movie of the week podcast.
Yes.
Where me. So yeah, that's what it was. So we had Saturday and Monday where we didn't see each other.
Yeah.
That makes up 2020, folks. The year we nearly killed each other. Actually, no.
No, I mean,
that's not what happened.
I would say like all in fairness of the other co-hosts, there was other things that were like, yeah.
Not going to get into that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because believe it or not, as stressful as that time was, I don't blame it all on him.
No.
That was just a bad year.
Yeah.
Jim, we love you. We want you on in 2 weeks. If you haven't responded to Jacob yet, I know that unless he's responded today and you hadn't told me.
Not yet.
We do want you on for those episodes because both the movies that are on the vote right now, Glass Onion and No Time to Die, were movies we planned to review on Movie of the Week podcast.
Yes, we did.
And we were watching movies to get caught up to them. And we never got to and the show broke up before either one of these movies came out.
Yeah.
So
any of you people, lovely people out there that know Jim, want to hear our thoughts?
Go listen to those episodes.
Yeah.
Hear us talk.
Yeah. A lot.
Hear me try not to strangle Jacob when we're talking about Galaxy Quest, because apparently this man does not have a sense of humor, or doesn't have the same sense of humor I do anyway.
We don't have the same sense of humor.
Which is fine most of the time.
Yeah, that's most of the time. And I'm like, what kind of animal are you? You don't like Galaxy Quest? And like, yeah.
I still think you just, a part of me thinks you just, it starts off where you think it's one way, and it's not that way, and you never can make the switch back.
That's true.
That's your problem.
That's
you
probably
think this is going to be a serious Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Because honestly, I remember watching this film again. You're welcome, patrons. I remember watching this movie at a lot younger of age, and it's like, I'm not a fan of comedy films. So I watched this and I'm like,
which I disagree with, by the way, because I have seen us watch things I classify as comedy, and you find them hilarious. I think there's a certain type of comedy that you do not like. And the two movies that come to my mind right now that fit into that category are Galaxy Quest and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Those are both comedies. They're not meant to be taken seriously in the slightest.
Agreed.
But because they're satirical.
Yeah, agreed.
They still play the thing they play it very straight.
Yeah,
I don't think you like it when they play ridiculousness straight.
Exactly. I don't.
Which I can't help you with. I love it when they do this.
Sorry, I have a very mechanical mind. Okay, that's how I think. And it's just like, I see something, it's okay, they're going to play it here. They go this way, I'm like, what? Huh?
Artsy, we don't talk about Rescue Rangers reboot.
Oh, now if they did an actual...
You want to hear our reaction? Go listen to that reaction.
Yeah.
But as in terms of our feelings on that movie, that should have been Roger Rabbit 2 starring the Rescue Rangers.
Agreed.
I would have accepted it better that way.
Yes. Yes, agreed. Now, if Disney actually does something with the Rescue Rangers, do a proper reboot like they did with DuckTales. Exactly. Because that would be absolutely amazing.
Please give me my Darkwing.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because that was my show.
Yes.
There is a reason Darkwing Duck. This is not just a random Darkwing Duck motorcycle with Goslin. This is as a child, toy.
Yes.
One of the many I have in a box. I have a bunch of them still in a box, but this is, to me, is still the coolest thing. And it was the only one that would really show up on screen.
Yeah.
But this was my toys. And I love getting to show them off. Because that was my show. That was the show everyone bought toys for me for. That's my first collector's collection.
Yes.
I say is now I'm trying to put G Gundam back on there without him stepping on any of the dice. I've got to find a better place to set some of these guys.
Yes. Yes. But if Disney does do a proper reboot of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, a proper one this time, I'm all game. I'll be like, I would not mind doing a second TAS with that. If they do it proper, yes.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. There's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger. Chip and Dale when there's danger. I don't remember the rest of the chorus. I'm surprised I got this far along. Chip and Dale.
You're welcome, patrons.
Artsy, please clip that.
Yes, thank you.
Pretty, please clip that.
Please.
If you don't,
Please.
I will go back and
Please.
find it.
Pretty, please.
I have it on my phone too. along with Daring Duck of Mystery, Champion of Right, Scoops out of the shadows, Darkwing of the Night. Somewhere some villain schemes, but his number's up 3, 2, 1. Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Darkwing Duck.
We're having way too much fun.
Also, DuckTales. I'm not going to go into that one because we all know that song. And then, of course, the fourth member of the Disney Afternoon, which doesn't actually have lyrics. It's just
yes, tailspin.
Oh yeah, tailspin. Oh tailspin. Something thick and thin with another tailspin. Spin it. Technically, there's a fifth one, but this was before I saw Darkwing. Back when I first originally watched Disney Afternoon,
yeah,
it was a show called The Gummy Bears.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember a minute of it.
I remember
the theme
song.
I watched it.
I remember the theme song very clearly.
Bear, something everywhere.
Bouncing from here to there.
Something gummy bears. They are the gummy bears.
That was like a late 80s show that came out.
It was not original. Like DuckTales, it was not originally part of the Disney Afternoon because it was a Disney Channel show, but when it got moved to ABC,
that's right.
They put it in as one of the things in Disney Afternoon.
True.
So there's your random bit of trivia. How about we actually talk about another major Disney property? Francisco loves everything we just said.
Yes, you're welcome, Roy.
You're welcome, Roy. How about we actually talk about the Rescuers Down Under? Once I get my thing over here.
The Cellcast is The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who's going to get out of here as a lovely lady's purse. Welcome, Jacob.
Oh, jeez. Like, I'm just getting this fur back on. Come on, man.
Fur?
I don't know.
Needlets, what have you done now? You didn't do anything.
Are you sure?
Claims she didn't do anything. What did you get into that's got fur coming back?
I have no idea. It just itches every once in a while and the tail wags all the time.
You sure you didn't do anything, Needlet? I'm not necessarily blaming you, but boy who cried wolf kind of thing going on right here. You have turned him into enough animals over the course of the past year. Admittedly, you're my first guess. Oh, that's fair, huh? Okay. You wanted while we're reviewing the show, you want to give him a scan and find out what's going on with the fur thing he's got going on?
Yeah.
All right. Anywho, Jacob.
Why, thank you. And let me use our co-host, a man who is hoping to get out of one of the villains' cages without the lizard messing everything up again. Welcome, Drew.
I'm lost on that one, actually.
Outie.
Good night. That guy was Jar Jar before Jar Jar.
Yes.
Oh, my word. Except, surprisingly enough, much like Jar Jar, he grows on you after a while. Which
that is true.
Scary.
That is true.
Scary. Thing is, he grows on you like a mold.
That is true. So before we do anything, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yes, that's why we're both wearing green.
Yes.
Even Deela over here is in the corner is wearing green. Of course, she wears that all the time.
Yeah, that's her natural.
That's
That's
the
her
soundboard.
shade.
But anyway, Jacob, how are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing good. It's been a very long week. Oh my gosh. Like it's one of those weeks where we're like, work is slow, and so you find yourself doing everything possible to keep yourself busy.
Believe me, I get that. That's kind of been my week.
Yeah, like going different places and forgetting you forgot where you went, but it's been one of those weeks, people. It's been one of those weeks.
It's spring break.
Yeah, it's spring break.
Surprisingly,
which is
neither one of us are in school. You at least, I can see how spring break would mess with you because you got all those high schoolers working up there with you. So I get that.
Right. Which can be very interesting. Me and my girlfriend, Ashley, love you. We went to Lufkin on Tuesday. That was fun. We went to the zoo, went to this place called Roast, restaurant. Roast.
Is you sure it's not Roost?
No, it's Roast.
Well, then I read it wrong on Facebook.
No, I probably wrote it wrong on Facebook.
It said, I thought it said Roost, ROOST.
Yeah, Roost.
It's like, yeah, you said roast a second ago. Like what you do to coffee.
I don't know. I blah, 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 blah. Either or.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah, you're totally welcome. Yeah, so we went to Lufkin, which is about an hour away from where we live, and had fun. Be like, I think our relationship's gonna get, me and Ashley's relationship's getting a lot deeper. Let's say that. Let's go deeper.
Right.
So yes, a lot of our stuff. I think we went to I feel so stupid when I can't remember something.
But you didn't post it on Facebook, so
no,
I had it.
No,
I saw
didn't.
you went to a zoo, and then you went to the Roost Roast.
Yeah, Roost Roast.
Past that, I couldn't tell you where you went that day.
Oh my gosh.
I had to work.
Yes. I took that day. I took that day off because obviously Ashley's a teacher.
Right.
And we decided to be like, hey, let's just do something. And yeah, that's what we took. That's what we decided. And yeah, I think we're actually like as a group, as singles, we're gonna go to a museum
tomorrow in Bullard.
Yeah, Bazaar in Bullard, which is another like 15 minutes away.
Technically, we went there 2 years ago, but the singles group's going again. I'm primarily going for the fellowship,
right?
Because I've been there before,
right?
But still,
at least we're not gonna be forced to go to Chipotle. Love you, Carrie.
If you're listening to this, we love you. We are just glad to actually be able to choose where we eat lunch tomorrow. Because Chipotle wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't.
Not my first choice, and not a choice I want to make again soon.
Right. But I've heard people say really, really good things about Chipotle.
We both ate there.
Yeah.
During COVID.
Right.
Which meant we had to go in wearing masks and just barely take them off long enough to eat. Then we had to put them back on again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah, thanks, COVID.
Anyway, so that's been my week. I know me and Ashley did something over the weekend. I know that. I'm not recalling exactly what we did. I know we went to.
It was your date weekend. So
that's
like every
right.
Weekend.
That's every weekend we do something over the weekend. I think we went walking. We went to Tyler State Park. We went to Tyler State Park. Thank you. Went to Tyler State. Had a great time. Trails are great. Had a picnic. It was great. We canoeing. Not canoeing, but paddle boating.
Should have been. Well, I don't think they have canoes there anymore.
No, they do.
Never mind then. You should have went canoeing.
Yeah, that was interesting because there again, Ashley does Peloton, which is cycling, and I do walking, running. So
y'all got good leg muscles.
Yes, now granted, my legs were burning by the end of it. She was like,
yeah, because it's a different set of muscles than walking.
Exactly.
Uses. But yeah.
I knew I'd finally get there, but so yeah, that's what I've been doing currently and looking forward to the weekend. Definitely next weekend where me and Ashley will be going to a Stars game in Dallas.
To watch the Zamboni. No, that's my joke.
That is your joke. Well, how are you doing, Josh?
I had a normal week, dude. I streamed a game Monday as I have been doing.
True.
I've been watching like different shows she'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much I had a normal week.
Okay, fair.
So why don't we go ahead and jump into the spoiler-free section of our review of Rescuers Down Under.
Hey.
Certified fresh and spoiler-free.
I can't tell you which viewing this is.
Oh gosh, you're not
Because
kidding.
this was one of those movies that Grandpa recorded off of Disney Channel for me on a VHS
Mhm.
that was bootlegged down to where I was because we didn't have Disney Channel at the
Mhm.
time. And it was one of those... okay, you remember recorded VHSs.
Oh, absolutely.
You remember that speed, I think it was like SLT,
Yeah.
where you crammed 6 hours of video
Oh yeah.
onto a VHS tape that
Mhm.
is only really rated 2
Mhm.
hours, and in order for it to do that, it like cranks the quality of that video down to, well, we wouldn't stand for it today.
That is true.
Like cranks it all the way down to like 240 interlaced,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah. Dude,
that's how I originally watched this film.
that's how I originally watched Star Wars and
Yeah, recorded off television.
Exactly.
And the only reason my copy of Rescuers Down Under didn't have commercials is because Disney Channel didn't show commercials in the middle of the movies back then. They didn't.
Yeah.
Because it was the late 80s.
That's
Late
true.
80s, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they didn't start really doing that till 95, I think.
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't have Disney Channel until I was in the 2000s.
Fair.
But either way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can't tell you how many times I watched this. I can tell you that most of my viewings prior, like I said, was on the SLT setting on that VCR
Mm-hmm.
on a 19, maybe no. The biggest TV I would have watched on was a 32-inch CRT.
Wow.
4x3.
Yeah.
And I say all that to point out that even at all that handicap
Yeah.
at the time, because that's just what life was at the time. I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah.
It's just how things were.
Right.
I was blown away by the animation in this movie. This, I think, is the movie that is the first movie I watched after we got a VCR that had the frame-by-frame option.
Mm-hmm.
That I turned that on and would watch whole sequences one frame at a time to see
Oh,
all
really?
the individual
Mm-hmm.
drawings, especially on the crazier sequences like that opening sequence.
Yeah. Oh my
or,
god. Yeah.
Or many of Wilbur's flights.
Yes.
And things like that.
Oh my gosh.
But this would have been the one that got me doing that, and probably
Yeah.
is what made me.
Yeah.
It took me from, oh, I'm a kid, I'm watching cartoons because they're colorful, to being, this is cool.
Yeah. This is
I love this. This is fascinating, and probably put me into at least having a low-key interest in animation.
Yeah.
For years, until you suggested the podcast.
Yeah.
That's just when we dove head first into this.
5 years
and
later.
learned all about this stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, this is literally one of my favorite movies as a kid. There were other movies from this time I know I watched
Mhm.
that I know I watched incessantly, because if you only have a certain number of movies recorded on
Mhm.
those little blank VHSs, you just watch them till they rot, the tape rots.
Yeah.
Which I did because
Uh-huh.
I was a kid, and
Mhm.
there's just nothing on TV in
Right.
the middle of the day for a 4-year-old to watch
Mhm.
at that time.
Right.
This was before the age of Nick Juniors and Disney Juniors and
Yeah.
all the other preschool channels.
That would have been wouldn't have been CBS. Would have been CBS?
I don't know. I'm listing cable channels.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Like CBS was where you got like Barney and that kind of stuff.
That was PBS.
PBS.
I
Thank you.
watched Sesame Street and some episodes of Barney back in the day. I think I was really grown out of Barney by the time he came on the scene, but I know I saw some episodes.
Yeah.
Before I really graduated into Muppets.
Oh, okay. Because
I'd seen Muppet Babies, which we both know your opinion on that.
right.
Real Muppets.
Again,
Real Muppets.
Yeah, real Muppets. Now, granted, you say Barney. Be like, I remember watching Barney as like a real small kid. I was like, this is stupid. I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. This is stupid.
Oh yeah,
Barney
was stupid.
Yeah, Barney was stupid.
The best thing to come out of Barney was the Animaniacs making fun of it.
That is true. That is
baloney.
I remember that. Oh my gosh. But anyways, But yeah, just be like Muppet Babies. I remember watching as a kid. I think I've spoken here before about it. I didn't have to like it because I had a different opinion about children back then because I was a kid and I didn't like little kids because I found them really annoying. Now as an adult, I have a completely different opinion about that. So I think watching Muppet Babies again as an adult perspective might change my perspective on it.
Admittedly, I was a little confused there because I missed that you were talking about Muppet Babies.
Yes.
I was thinking, there's only one kid in this entire film. Who are you talking about? Because this doesn't sound like Cody.
No, it's not Cody. But either
Cody, we'll get into this when we get into the full review. But good night, Cody lives a charmed life.
Yes, for a kid who lives in the outback.
Yes. Anyway,
Yes.
do you have anything else to add before we drop the spoiler warning?
Yes.
Other than this is a great movie and you should watch it.
This is a fantastic film. This is a film that I watched as a child because my mother made sure we like one of the big things. She was always, it's like, you're gonna get Disney films like every year, Disney films every year. So we got the clamshell Disney films every year on VHS. And Rescuers Down Under was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't watch the Rescuers before. We watched Rescuers Down Under, then Rescuers. And I absolutely love this movie.
I know I watched Rescuers, the first one, on a bootleg VHS also, but it was years after I'd already learned the ins and outs of this movie by watching it incessantly.
Yes.
And let's just both be honest right here, right now. This movie is 10 times better than The Rescuers.
Agreed.
Just putting that out there right now.
Yes.
Just the simple fact that our villain is not aping another villain. This villain actually caused other villains that came after it to ape him.
True.
More on that later.
Yeah, there's
Let me put it this way. If you are a 90s kid and you all know all the good 90s Disney villains, from Gaston to Clayton, they're all based on this guy.
Yeah.
On George, on McLeach.
On McLeach.
They are all McLeach in different forms.
And similarities, yes.
This was the guy that started the trend.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Little Mermaid if it had come out after this and they tried to put a McLeach-like character into that? Who would it be? It wouldn't have worked because Ursula is the villain. But anyway.
Yeah, Ursula is just like you've heard, be like if you listen to our review on The Little Mermaid, go check it out if you haven't. But yeah, Ursula as a character is a very menacing character. Now, McLeach on the other hand is a whole different ball game.
Let's get into it before I say some spoilers. How about that?
Yes, go watch this film. It's amazing. You can watch it on Disney Plus.
Yes. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie The Rescuers Down Under. Listener discretion is advised.
Outie, outie, outie.
That's right. This started that long before Toy Story did it.
Yes, it did. I broke him.
The Rescuers Down Under was directed by Hendel Butoy and Mike Gabriel. Hendel Butoy also directed the Pines of Rome and Piano Concerto No. 2 segments of Fantasia 2000. And Mike Gabriel went on to direct Pocahontas.
Nice.
It was also written by Jim Cox, Carrie Kirkpatrick, Byron Simpson, and Joe Ranfi. And of course, based on characters created by Marjorie Sharp for her books, The Rescuers and Miss Bianca.
Yes.
Getting into the cast, we've got Bob Newhart as Bernard. And in the movie Elf, he played Papa Elf. Eva Gabor played Miss Bianca. And in Green Acres, she played Lisa Douglas. John Candy played Wilbur. And in the movie Spaceballs, he played Barf. It doesn't take much to get him sometimes.
No, it doesn't.
All I had to do was say Barf.
Just the character. Just the character of Barf.
He's half man, half dog. I'm a Mog. I'm my own best friend. For those of you in the audio version, I am now presenting my friend Jacob as a example.
You're not helping here.
I had to do a dog thing somewhere because there's not a dog in this film.
Who let the dogs out? This guy. This guy.
Tristan Rogers plays Jake. And in the soap opera General Hospital, he played Robert Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Adam Ryan was the voice of Cody. And in Child's Play 2,
Oh,
he
gosh.
played Rick Spires. George C. Scott was the voice of McLeach. And in Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue,
Oh,
he played Smoke, the villain.
he did play the villain.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. So if you want to go listen to that one, it's on what? Retro Rewind?
Yeah, Retro Rewind. No, that hasn't released yet.
Oh, it hasn't been
They have
released
not released that episode yet.
yet. Okay, so wait off and hear that one.
Listen for that one. But also, he played Patton in Patton.
That's
Just to
right.
throw something else people know. He's
Yeah.
also in Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Can't remember his name, though. But anyway, Wayne Robson played Frank. And he was Mike Hammer on The Red Green Show.
No idea what that is.
I need to introduce you to The Red Green Show.
Okay.
Douglas Seal played Krebs, and he was the Sultan in Aladdin.
Ah, okay.
And our good buddy Frank Welker plays Joanna.
And he also plays another character.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, then.
I'm assuming I know what you're referring to.
Yep.
Either way, in the most recent internet travesty known as Velma, he played William Jones, aka Fred's dad.
Blasphemy.
But moving on from that, our Kingdom Hearts connections.
Oh, good.
Starting with Frank Welker. He was also in Kingdom Hearts. He played Experiment 221, aka Sparky, in Kingdom Hearts. Chris Sanders. Speaking of Stitch, in this, he was a storyboard artist.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And of course, he plays Stitch in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I do remember reading that. Yes.
Yes. Last but not least, Russie Taylor.
Russie Taylor. Okay.
Played the nurse mice in this film.
Oh, oh my gosh, yes.
And she is Queen Minnie Mouse in Kingdom Hearts. Yes, the modern voice of Minnie Mouse played a bunch of mini mice.
Who wanted the torture
Who
Wilbur.
wanted to torture Wilbur. Which,
Poor
when
bird.
you recognize that and you watch that scene, you can't see Minnie Mouse loading a shotgun with tranquilizers.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Poor Wilbur.
Yeah, so that's the end of the cast list in Kingdom
All
Hearts Connections. What do we have in info and stuff
All right.
on this horribly underrated film?
Agreed. So IMDb has a 6.8 out of 10. Come on, people. It's just better than this. You can be able to watch it on Disney Plus. Production was Silver Screen Partners 4.
I think this was one of the last ones Disney had to do with Silver Screen.
Yes, one of the very last ones they did. Walt Disney Pictures and Walt Disney Feature Animation, distributed by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution. Thank you. I get tongue tied quite a bit.
Admittedly, Buena Vista Distribution is a tongue twister, even for those of us who don't normally get tongue tied.
That is true. That is so true.
Speaking of tongue twisters, that sentence I just said.
Yes, you did. Released originally on November 16, 1990. Box office had an estimated budget of $30 million. Its opening week for the US and Canada was $27.9 million. It's no correction. I read that wrong. Scratch that. Opening weekend for US and Canada was $3.4 million on November 18th, 1990. Its gross for United States and for the rest of the world apparently was $27.9 million. So it did not do well financially.
That's a shame.
Yes. And apparently you're probably going to get in this in the trivia later. But
this was the reason most of the sequel films that came out in the 90s were straight to home video.
Yeah,
was because
agreed.
how poorly this film did as the first sequel film.
Yes, it is actually one of the first sequel films that Disney ever did. And went to
This
theater.
is the first.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is the first. You're right. All right. So home release. The Rescuers Down Under was released on home release for Warner. No, Warner. I did it again. Walt.
Hang on.
So in home release, The Rescuers Down Under was released in the Walt Disney Collection video series on September 20th, 1991, in a pan scan transfer, while the Rescuers was released on VHS almost a year later in 1992. Unlike the original film, however, The Rescuers Down Under was not included in the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection line, but both the home video releases went to let's see, that was released in 1993. It was originally released. The VHS edition sold 5.8 million units in the United States, generating $72.8 million in revenue. Launching in 2000, January 2000, the Walt Disney Home Video began the Gold Classic Collection, with The Rescuers Down Under reissued on VHS and DVD on August 1st of 2000. The DVD contained the film in the 1.6 aspect ratio, enhanced with a 6.9 television sets and 4.0 surround sound, and included special features included a storybook and trivia about animals of the outback. The Rescue Down Under was released alongside The Rescuers in a Blu-ray in a 2-movie collection on August 21st, 2012, in conjunction with the first film's 35th anniversary in the United States. So, sequels. A third film was planned for 1996, but after the death of
Eva Gabor,
all future rescue films were
Ava
Gabor,
because it's like Evangelion.
Yeah, Ava Gabor. After her passing, all future rescuers films were scrapped. Near the third film wanted to revive or replace the voice of Miss Bianca. Producers wanted to have all the original voice actors for the Rescuers from 1977 reprise their roles for the sequel. So obviously, we're never going to get if Disney doesn't do anything in the next couple of years. But we're never going to get a sequel.
Admittedly, I don't think we're ever get a sequel, even with most. The only two that are left are Bob Newhart and John Candy's passed.
John Candy's passed several years ago.
Bob Newhart's about the only quote unquote cast member from this that's left.
Yeah, except for
major cast member.
Yeah,
I think George C. Scott's still around, but either way, the character's dead, so he can't come back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it would be interesting.
I would love to see this. I actually think that they could do something really cool in Kingdom Hearts with these characters.
I agree. I think
Sora being the kid in that instance.
I think if Disney did something, be like, Drew from the Vault, as it used to be called, and do something like a television series based off the Rescuers.
Oh yeah, and just get a whole new cast at this point.
Yeah,
I think that I actually would not be surprised if not long after Bob Newhart does pass, which is going to be in the next 10 years, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if someone decides, hey, do you remember that Rescuer show? That's about long enough. We could probably reintroduce that as a whole new TV series on Disney Plus or something and do this cool thing. There's a lot of us of this age that we actually do like the Rescuers.
Yes.
It's just, it was not something that the parents apparently wanted to go see at the time because they remembered the original film, and
which apparently did very well in theaters.
Right, but it was because that was at the first one was in the right before the Dark Ages really hit bad.
Yeah, 77. Yeah.
This is at the end. This is at the very, very beginning, one movie removed.
Yeah,
from the start of the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah,
because technically the first one is Little Mermaid.
Yes.
This is technically the second film, but it's usually not included with that because people forget it.
Yeah. Which,
in all
how,
honesty,
how can you forget this film? It's amazing.
it's a beautiful film.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting into the summary.
Mm-hmm.
In the Australian outback, a young boy named Cody rescues and befriends a rare golden eagle named Marahute, who shows him her nest and eggs and gives him one of her feathers. Later on, he falls into an animal trap set by Percival C. McLeach, a local poacher wanted by the Australian Rangers, who has killed Marahute's mate. Realizing Cody has Marahute's feather and must know her location, McLeach kidnaps the boy and throws his backpack in to float. Let me start that over. Sorry. McLeach kidnaps the boy and throws his backpack to a float of crocodiles. The Rangers find it and believe that Cody has been eaten. The mouse who was the bait in the trap hurries to an outpost from which a telegram is sent to the Rescue Aid Society headquarters in the United Nations, New York City. Bernard and Miss Bianca, the RAS's elite field agents, are assigned to the mission, interrupting Bernard's attempts to propose marriage to Miss Bianca. They go find Orville the albatross, who aided them before, and meet his brother Wilbur, who flies them to Australia. There they meet Jake, a hopping mouse, who is the RAS's local regional operative. I don't think that's true, but we'll get back on that.
I think he has some kind of connection with the RS.
As far as I can tell, he's he operates the airport that Wilbur has to fly into, and then agrees to help because he's trying to show off to Miss Bianca.
Yeah, but then he has knowledge of the RAS.
You know, all the mice know who the RAS is in this world.
Okay, then.
Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if every animal everyone but the humans know about it, because every kid they come across does not know who these people are.
That is true.
Anyway, Jake becomes infatuated with Bianca and flirts with her, much to Bernard's dismay. He serves as their tour guide and protector in search of the boy. Wilbur accidentally bends his spinal column out of shape trying to help them, so Jake sends him to the hospital, an old ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
Wilbur refuses to undergo surgery, but his back is straightened as he fights to escape the medical mice. He flies off in search of his friends. At McLeach's hideout, Cody is imprisoned with a number of captured animals after refusing to divulge Marahute's whereabouts. Cody attempts to free himself and the animals, but is thwarted by Joanna, McLeach's pet goanna. Realizing that protecting Marahute's eggs is Cody's weak spot, McLeach tricks Cody into thinking someone else killed Marahute and releases him, knowing that Cody will go back to the nest. Bernard, Bianca, and Jake arrive at McLeach's. Bernard, Bianca, and Jake arrive as McLeach departs in his half-track after Cody. The three hitch a ride on the vehicle and warn Cody upon arriving at the nest, but McLeach captures Cody, Marahute, Jake, and Bianca. McLeach then sends Joanna to eat Marahute's eggs, but Bernard manages to trick her using egg-shaped stones. Wilbur arrives at the nest, and Bernard leaves Wilbur to sit on the real eggs while Bernard goes after McLeach. McLeach takes his captives to Crocodile Falls, a huge waterfall at the edge of the river he threw Cody's backpack into. He ties Cody up and hangs him over the float of crocodiles, intent on feeding Cody to them to eliminate him as a witness. Bernard, riding a wild razorback pig he tamed using a horse whispering technique he learned from Jake, arrives and disables McLeach's vehicle before he can succeed. McLeach then attempts to shoot the rope holding Cody above the water, but Bernard tricks Joanna into crashing into McLeach, sending both of them into the water. The crocodiles turn their attention to McLeach and Joanna behind them. Cody falls into the water as the damaged rope breaks. As Joanna flees to the bank, McLeach fends off and taunts the crocodiles, forgetting about the waterfall until it is too late. He tries to swim to shore, but is washed over the edge to his death. Bernard dives into the water and holds Cody long enough for Jake and Bianca to free Marahute, allowing the eagle to save Cody and Bernard just as they go over the waterfall. Bernard, desperate to prevent any further interruptions, proposes to Bianca. She immediately accepts, and while Jake salutes him with newfound respect. Safe at last, the group departs for Cody's home. Meanwhile, Wilbur is still sitting on Marahute's eggs. They hatch, and one of the eagles bites him, to his dismay. Getting into the trivia for this one. This was Eva Gabor's last film before her death in 1995. A third Rescuers film was planned for 1996, but after her death, all future Rescuers movies were scrapped. Neither the third film reviving nor replacing the voice of Miss Bianca. The producers wanted to have all the voice actors from The Rescuers 1977 reprise their roles for the sequel. However, in the original, Orville the Albatross was voiced by Jim Jordan, who died 2 years before the film was released. The producers didn't want to replace Jordan, so Orville was replaced with the character's brother Wilbur, voiced by John Candy. This is actually a reference to the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, the inventors and pilots of the first functional airplane. This was the first 100% digital feature film ever made.
Yes.
The animation and backgrounds were done traditionally, but all of the coloring, mini effects, and the final film printing was all done digitally. This was the first film produced completely with Disney's Academy Award-winning CAPS production system developed for the film. I say completely because there are parts of Little Mermaid that used CAPS.
It did.
It cuts the production time for an animated movie down by at least 6 months, which is amazing in and of itself.
And I think the actual first use of cap system was probably Baker Best. What is?
The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes. That was.
I think that if you're talking about the CG parts there in the clock, maybe. But from what I understand on that, the clock gears and such were all done vector wise, and then was colored manually.
That's right.
So it didn't actually use the caps system, or if it did, it was very, very minimally.
Yeah, I think it was.
But the first one where they actually
was Little Mermaid,
did like entire full scenes or entire sequence within the cap system was Little Mermaid.
Yeah, the stairwell scene.
The stairwell scene. Yeah, the whole movie is done doing that, except for like the backgrounds. I think it said.
Yeah, the backgrounds are done. You can
tell the backgrounds are painted.
Yeah, they're traditional.
But that being said, the flying scenes with Marahute were inspired by the films of Hayao Miyazaki, which typically feature elaborate aerial scenes.
That makes sense.
McLeach would serve as inspiration for several later Disney villains for years, including Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, Governor Ratcliffe from Pocahontas, Clayton from Tarzan, and Commander Rourke from Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Disney's first theatrical animated sequel. This would later carry on with Fantasia 2000 in 1999, Return to Neverland in 2002, The Jungle Book 2 in 2003, Ralph Breaks the Internet in 2018, and Frozen 2 in 2019, with the rest of the sequels would be straight to video. Tristan Rogers is the only actual Australian voice actor in the film as the voice of Jake, which, except for Cody, makes sense.
Yeah.
As almost everyone else is American.
Yeah.
But, except for McLeach, Jake, and Cody technically are all Australian, so it would have made sense if they were Australian if you're casting, but then we would not get George C. Scott as McLeach.
That is true, but
that man did an amazing job in this movie.
Yeah, but also you got to think about Cody's mom.
Yeah, Cody's mom. She's apparent that she's not Australian either.
Apparently not.
The actress didn't.
She did a really good job.
Oh yeah,
my opinion.
Adam Ryan, the boy who voiced Cody, also dubbed the same character in his native Norwegian.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's Norwegian. Yeah, that's right.
On its initial release, the film was preceded by the Mickey Mouse short subject, The Prince and the Pauper, 1990. Interestingly enough, this was only the second Mickey Mouse short made since the 1950s, with the first being Mickey's Christmas Carol in 1983, which was made to accompany the 1983 re-release of The Rescuers. The twisted version of Home on the Range, and You Get a Line and I'll Get a Pole, that McLeach sings, was not performed by George C. Scott.
No, it wasn't.
It was instead sung by the voice of Joanna, Frank Welker.
Of course.
And you know what? He did an amazing job, because you can't tell.
No, you can't.
In both places, like, you sound just like George C. Scott.
And then,
if George C. Scott can sing, I have no idea if he can.
And then you get Frank Welker does it again, but in The Lion King.
Yeah. No. If you're talking about the one that replaces Scar.
Yeah.
No, that's Jim Cummings.
Okay, never mind. It's Jim Cummings. Never mind. I always get those two amazing voice actors mixed up.
Megatron and Darkwing Duck. You confuse?
Sometimes, sorry.
Anyway, I'm not getting back into that. This film, along with Tarzan in 1999, are the only films released during the Disney Renaissance to not be musicals, and is the 6th Disney animated feature film not to be a musical. Although it is worth mentioning that McLeach and Wilbur both sing incidental songs, while none of the characters in Bambi 1942, 101 Dalmatians 1961, except for the guy, Pongo's owner. Can't think of the character's name. Either way, him.
Yeah,
because he sings in that, obviously, because he sings
does.
Cruella de Vil. And the Great Mouse Detective, except for Radigan and his thug minions.
Yes.
Sing.
Oh my gosh. I was watching that
Vincent
earlier.
Price
Yes.
singing is. I am looking forward to that rewind episode. Is all I'm saying.
Yes.
There's a reason that song has since ended up on my phone. Goodbye so soon until we meet again. Unfortunately, this is the least successful film released during the Disney Renaissance, and the only one to not reach $100 million in its opening weekend, after it only grossed $27,931,461 that weekend's box office. Disney executive Jeffrey Katzenberger pulled all television advertisements for the film. Katzenberger? Actually, it's just Katzenberg. I don't know why I said Katzenberger. Anyway,
maybe he's hungry.
The film opened on the same weekend as another feature film starring John Candy, Home Alone, which went on to gross more than 10 times what The Rescuers Down Under did. The financial failure discouraged Disney from releasing subsequent non-computer animated sequels in theaters, although there have been exceptions to this rule, such as Fantasia 2000 in 1999, Peter Pan 2 Return to Neverland in 2002, and The Jungle Book 2 in 2003. This is the first animated film to have the appearance of multi-plane shots with the use of computer layering and formatting, as opposed to manually producing the shots with multi-plane cameras.
Yes.
Previous Disney films had no multiple plane shots or only 2-plane shots. At 1 hour and 17 minutes, this is the shortest film of the Disney Renaissance. Of all the things McLeach calls Joanna as an insult, such as a 4-legged python, salamander, etc., he never once refers to her by her actual species name, a goanna, a monitor lizard found in Australia and Southeast Asia. He even simply says Joanna eggs to her at the part where she steals his eggs. Early drafts of the film originally had Percival C. McLeach get eaten and mauled by a pack of dingoes. I would have paid to see that. But this idea was scrapped from the film due to its graphic nature. No kidding. The same is also said for an alternate death scene in Beauty and the Beast 1991 for Gaston, although this concept would end up being used later in The Lion King for Scar. Last but not least, Bernard and Miss Bianca do not appear in the film until about 18 minutes into the movie. Bear in mind, this film's only an hour and 18 minutes long.
Yes.
So they're only in the movie for an hour. And they don't interact with Cody, the boy they're trying to rescue, until about 56 minutes into the film.
Yeah. It takes them a long time to get through the Outback.
Well, it's a big area.
Yeah.
That being said, that's the end of my trivia.
All right. So one that I learned recently, that it was a failed pitch for something we talked about in pre-show, was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So apparently they were doing a pitch for what would later be a failed pitch for Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, would have been that
our actual rescuers TV show.
Kind of, it would have spun off from it, because apparently Bianca and Bernard would have been missing and the organization would have broken up. And so it was Chip and Dale. I think Bernard would have been in the original pilot, where he would have helped them form the Rescue Rangers.
Oh, that's kind of an interesting idea, keeping everything interconnected.
Exactly. But it was a failed pilot idea. But it's interesting to know that they would have used the rescuers in some capacity.
I wonder if there might have been some copyright issues with that concept also, because I don't think the book that this is all based on, I think it was still would have been within copyright during this time.
It would have.
So they would definitely have had to pay royalties for both The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, even though the movie Down Under is a more original production and only uses the characters.
Yeah. So they would.
That's a theory.
Yeah.
A Disney theory. Thanks for listening. We're going to continue into our first like, which I'm giving to Jacob. Go ahead.
The animation of this film is
Oh, good
breathtaking.
night, yes.
Oh my gosh. Because as a kid watching the opening shot to this entire film, I'm like, kind of like Drew. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here Indian style in front of my I think my parents' 20-inch television, 25-inch television.
Right.
And they're like, oh my gosh. And it's like, this is amazing. And then I guarantee it was probably one of my brothers or my parents like, Jacob, get your head out of the television. Because I did that a lot.
You not see this? It's like it's 3D. Bear in mind, this was 1990. This was about as close to 3D animation as we've gotten so far.
Yeah. No, be like, it's not Jaws 3D.
No, it's like the animation is not just two-dimensional pictures, except it is.
Exactly.
Because it's just, they did a lot better animating depth in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Than really most movies before it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also you look at like Marahute, who was animated, or the key animator was Glenn Keane.
Yeah.
And was like, oh my gosh.
That you can tell that's Glenn Keane.
That's definitely Glenn Keane.
That.
Yes.
But there's so many shots here where it's like, oh, you can almost tell someone said, oh, this new system can do that?
Yeah.
We've got to show that off.
Exactly.
Like that first bit where you get this nice fade up, it's nice and calm. You see a grasshopper walking along a leaf, and the camera goes up, and we get this nice shot of this field of purple flowers, with two mountains in the background, and it's like, and you're just flying straight across this entire field.
Oh yeah,
and you're looking at it and going, they couldn't have done this in The Little Mermaid.
No, they couldn't have.
They couldn't have done this.
No,
then.
like all of Mirahute's
like
flying is amazing.
This you got to understand. As much as we like the Little Mermaid, this is a huge step up in animation quality because they had the tools now to do stuff like this. You get this nice, cool you can tell, especially as much animation as we've watched, and the age of the technology. This is still very primitive 3D. So you can kind of tell that that's computer generated mountains that they've painted to look nicer. But still, you get that whole thing where you're flying up on it, and then you can see the house, and it flies into the window of the house. And at no point does it you ever have that moment where you can tell the quality dramatically increase because they were now making bigger pictures. It's like, no, this is the same vector image. Just shrunk really small, and they just made it bigger to simulate the camera getting closer to it, so you never lose detail.
True.
And you never gain stupid detail that wouldn't make sense to show up.
That's true.
Sorry.
No, you're
the
good.
Graphic designer in me exploded right when watching.
I can tell,
and it does every time. It's like, jumping on top of that. Another moment, that shot of Miss Bianca in the truck as it drives away, and you see it go through the mesh of the cage.
Oh yeah,
as the thing goes off, and you get that nice little. It's not a parallax effect, but you get that 3D, like you can see the depth move, and you get it's kind of a parallax effect.
Yeah, kind of.
But that shot is like, oh my word! And Miss Bianca, while she is animated by the computer, she's still a two-dimensional character in that shot. They did not try to 3D her at all.
No.
So it just looks like so good. Oh man, there's so much, and the flying scenes. Good night.
The flying scenes, yes, and to understand, be like it's inspired by Miyazaki.
That explains a lot.
Oh my word!
If there's someone who knows how to animate flying, it's Miyazaki.
Yes,
and if someone studied Miyazaki enough to be able to produce this, good job.
And also to think, be like, this is kind of it's homaging the original homage, because Miyazaki started doing it because he was so inspired by what Disney was doing, and then you go full circle with the Rescuers Down Under, where they're being inspired by Miyazaki.
Exactly. Well, all anime technically comes from Snow White.
That is true. That is so true.
It just does.
It does.
But anyway,
agreed. So, like, the animation in this film is in this. It's hard to describe sometimes. Be like, there again, opening shots, Merahute's flights, a lot of the
many beautiful shots.
Agreed.
And perspective shots.
Yeah.
The scenes where the mice are operating the
my gosh,
the computers at Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
To send the thing on to the national aids.
Those scenes were amazing.
They literally, you could tell they drew it from one angle so that it would look correct.
Yes.
And then they moved the camera down so that it was be from the perspective of the mice doing it. And it's like, this is beautiful.
Yeah, just to, wrap it up. Be like, the animation in this movie is gold.
You say that, but this is my first like too.
No kidding.
So this is like the main thing that stands out in this film. Is how this is the tech demo.
Yeah.
This is the tech demo of what the cap system could do. There was design decisions chosen in this film for no other reason than let's show off what the cap system can do. But they made it work for the film.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Animation. And this is just beautiful.
Agreed. Breathtaking. Use any other adjective you want to. It's fan-freaking-tastic.
I want to see this film in a theater. Disney, make it happen.
Come on.
This is the same reason I go anytime I find out that there's a Miyazaki film I've not seen or not seen in a while that they're going to put in theaters for part of Studio Ghibli Fest. I'm like, how long has it been since I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service? How long has it been since I've seen Porco Rosso? How long has it been since I've seen Princess Mononoke? 3 years? Yeah, it's been enough time. Let's go watch Studio Ghibli in a theater.
If Disney does do that,
Disney needs to do that. I'm sorry.
But I mean, like,
they are the ones that pioneered that idea of re-releasing your old movies in a theater, and they've not done it since the 90s.
Yes. Which they need to revive that because it would be epic to see those like older films back in theaters.
Yes.
For our generation, the generation before us, and the generation after us.
And plus, can you imagine seeing this film in a theater?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my word.
No remastering, no 3D
no
manipulation. Just put in theaters.
Take what you got on Disney Plus, or maybe go back. I'm assuming that you've got the film somewhere. Just do an 8K scan. Do a little minor cleanup, just enough to get the dust particles off of there. Nothing. Right. Still leave the film grain. And put that in the theater, and I guarantee you we'll be going, oh, look at the pretty colors.
You'll be like, just buy drill pans, bibs for adults because you'll be fine, and you'll sell them because we'll be like, ugh.
Because I'm sorry, this film does stuff that the Disney Renaissance films after it don't do.
Yeah, agreed.
And it does that 10 times better than you think it would.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish we got in some of these labels. Don't get me wrong. Love Beauty and the Beast. Love The Lion King. Love Aladdin. Love I even like Pocahontas, even though it's been a hot minute since I've watched it.
Yeah.
All those 3D films, they all look good, but none of them ever do stuff that this film does. And it's because this film was showing off.
Yeah, agreed.
And honestly, I want to see more films show off a lot of times, as long as it makes sense as part of the story. Because, I hate to jump over your second, but this is a good segue.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're excited. It's so
excited. Yes,
yeah.
Because along with all the great animation, my second like is the fact that they didn't skimp on the story.
No, they didn't.
They did not. I mean, there's a little bit of a green, let's all hug the trees and animals and such. Look how horrible poaching is, and makes it sound like all hunters are evil and admittedly stupid and evil.
Yeah, stupid and evil. Yeah,
It does have that kind of feel to it.
it does.
Especially when you're looking through the eyes of a jaded 37-year-old who's had to live through the woke era of the United States of America.
True.
There is that in there, but
just wait till next week's episode.
yeah. The film I only watched half an hour of originally, and I don't know how it ends. But they don't skimp on the story. You've got a great story between Bianca, Bernard, and Jake in that little minor love triangle.
Yeah.
You've got a great story with Wilbur trying to catch up. You've got Cody dealing with McLeach. And then you've got McLeach.
Yes.
Who has essentially his own little story going on.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all interwoven in such a way that there's not a bad moment of acting in this film. A lot of times, you watch even some of the best films out there, there's always some character in the background who's got like maybe a barely heard voice role, and he's just not acting. He's just getting sound out there, so it sounds like it. I don't think there's any of that here. It's all every character is like on par. There's like a couple of characters who don't have voice roles that they're just playing regular animals.
Yeah.
That they're kind of like that's a thing. We're just showing off Australian animals, but that's like so stinking minor.
True.
That I don't care. And just the whole package is beautiful. I didn't mention Marahute too much in the animation, but you got that too, because the animation for her character in dealing with her story is like, you understand exactly what she's communicating, even though she doesn't speak, except for cause every once in a while, which I do think I've heard that particular sound effect somewhere else. I just can't place where it came from.
Got it.
But the story in this is just so stinking good that you're clearly, it blows the first movie out of the water. And not just because our villain is not a knockoff of Cruella de Vil this time around.
Right.
Not because that's just a great character in McLeach. But it's like the first movie is like it's almost dull in a way. This film is like every time we turn around, something cool is happening on screen. And if it's not a cool story moment, it's a cool character moment.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's my second like. What's yours?
My second like would be you mentioned him before, but McLeach.
That's my third.
Yeah, McLeach as a character, voiced by the amazing
George
C. Scott, who sadly passed away in 1999. Every scene he's in, he is chewing the scene so vividly and verbally.
He is not chewing the scene. He's biting whole chunks out of it. He's got the best lines in the whole film.
I didn't graduate the third grade for nothing.
These are not Joanna eggs.
Every single time. Be like, he's probably one of the best villains from the early Renaissance era.
There's a reason that Gaston, another great villain.
Yes.
Clayton, another great villain.
Yes.
Is all those other characters are inspired by this character, because this character you'd love to hate.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an evil character through and through. You know he's not a good guy, but you're still happy to see him on screen because you just he's having so much fun. You can't not enjoy him being up there.
I agree that Clayton, I want to call him Clayton now.
We haven't watched that movie yet.
No, we haven't. But one second. McLeach is just be like, he is a villain through and through. Be like, yes, there's more of this environmental, let's not poach things, which we shouldn't poach animals,
right?
But it's just more this, be like this character who is so relentless on what he wants, and he's driven, he's ambitious, and he is willing to do anything possible to do it, including kill a kid, for getting in his way. It's like that's the epitome of an evil character. Be like, yeah, Disney has done amazing villain characters, but very rarely be like, unless like the original character from the original Rescuers, be like, she was villainous,
Right,
but
she was a ripoff of, she was Cruella de Vil light.
yeah, agreed, she is. But like he's be like, McLeach is one of those characters who be like is willing to do anything in order to grasp what his greedy little paws wants, including murdering a child in order to get it. So that makes him one of the worst villains in Disney history. Now, Scar kind of did that. He didn't get away with it because
Scar was more political.
Yeah, he's very political.
He wasn't really evil for evil's sake. I've always thought that Scar really did think he knew what the right thing to do was.
Right. He just didn't know how to manage it.
He didn't know how to manage it. His ego got in the way, and that's what caused all his downfall. Because he was so angry at his brother getting being lauded over him. McLeach, on the other hand, he is just evil because he wants to kill all the animals and sell them for parts.
And get rich.
Exactly.
That's his whole motivation is wealth.
Which it does not matter if you are a tree hugger or if you are a hunter, a legitimate hunter. You hate the poachers. It's what brings us all together is the hatred of the poachers.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just his character is so well done as a villain that it's like there again, it's been inspired by different has inspired different other Disney villains and probably many others.
Yes.
But oh my gosh, like you said, like every scene he is in, he is literally biting into it and not letting go like a pit bull.
Now, admittedly,
stealing every freaking time he's in frame.
One of my favorite moments, admittedly, which I did not know until we were doing research for this, is the part that was actually done by Frank Welker. Allow me to do my best for what's the word I'm looking for? Impersonation of McLeach singing Home on the Range.
Oh my god.
Home on the range, where the critters are tied up in chains. I cut through their sides and I rip off their hides, and the next day I do it again. The thing is, that is horrible.
Yeah,
that is the most horrible thing. But it's like, yeah, he's a villain. He wants to do horrible things.
Exactly.
And he's loving every minute of it. There is something about, we've said this like when we were on Monster on Film Vault talking about Ooze.
Yes.
Ivan Ooze.
Yes.
And so many other characters. That's the first one that comes to my mind. A villain who loves what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want them all the time. Granted.
Yeah.
Because I do like three-dimensional, well thought out villains. But a villain who's just evil for evil's sake.
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't care that he's evil and just revels in his evilness is a joy to behold sometimes when you're watching a film, because it's like, yeah, we hate you and you don't care and you're going to have as much fun with it as you want.
Precisely.
And that is subsequently great for us too. Because yeah, it's like, we hate you. We really hate you. And yet we love to hate you. Scar is like this too, even though he's a little deeper. And I still say Scar has the best villain song.
Yeah, I agreed. Yes.
But at the same time, he's got that, he is essentially McLeach, but with a deeper background.
Yeah, agreed.
But he is essentially that character. So many other Disney villains from the Renaissance, they're essentially this character, but with a little more depth, and they're looking a different way. They're evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
But there's a reason they're being evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
McLeach does not have a reason for being evil for evil's sake, except that he's greedy.
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, do you want to talk about his actions making this film dark?
Oh yeah.
The scene with the animals in the cages and the koala, it was a koala, right? Koala is telling everyone how they're going to get out of there. The kangaroo's going to be a wallet. I don't remember what the second one was, but then that little lizard.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to be a lovely lady's purse.
No.
Okay, I didn't get how dark that was as a child.
No.
Because I didn't know what they were talking about. But now I'm looking at it going, wow, that is dark.
Very,
That
very.
is pitch black.
Mhm.
Because you're saying these people are going to be murdered, and the only good that's going to come out of it is someone in Paris is going to have a lovely purse.
Yes. So McLeach is the villain.
McLeach is the villain of the year.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
If not the decade.
Yeah, they're gonna be like you said before, but like he's not this like in-depth kind of like Scar. He's got this
Right.
deep emotional
There's not this big knot of story that you get to do, because it doesn't matter why he's evil.
No, he's just a
He's just a
villain
villain.
to be villain's sake.
And good night, I want one of those again.
Agreed.
Because don't get me wrong, I love the villains that are the heroes of their own story.
Yeah.
And have had to go through a hero's like journey, but for evil's sake.
Yeah, they went to the dark side.
Right. Like what's her name in Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yeah, I know exactly
her dragon nerd friend.
Yeah.
Or eventually Fred. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was good, no, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got like Encanto, where the people claim the grandma's the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I would partially agree
there's
with
not
this.
really a villain in that.
No.
What was the last big Disney film we watched? Because it
Uh,
wasn't Strange World, because neither one of us have watched that yet.
no.
It wasn't Encanto. There was something else in between there. Turning Red was a Pixar.
Turning Red is Pixar. Honestly,
Either way, Encanto may have been the last.
I think
new
it is
film we
Encanto.
saw.
I think it is Encanto.
But yeah, there's so many in the last couple of years. Oh, Frozen 2.
There we go.
There's not a villain in that.
No, there's no villain.
It's what we talked about a couple weeks ago. There's no villain in that, because if the story doesn't lend itself to that. And don't get me wrong, I like that every once in a while, but it has been since probably I'm not sure what comes later, but Lilo and Stitch, maybe it's probably the last thing with a quote unquote villain.
Yeah, but the villain is more just it's a villain who's doing their job.
Yeah,
and it's not really this
but
like villain.
He's the last one I would actually consider to be a major villain. Now, granted, there's some of those like in the earliest parts of that. It's like, okay, yeah. Oh, you got King Candy. He's actually a villain for villain's sake.
Yeah, that is
but
true.
he's got reasons.
Yeah, he's
for being
got
a villain
for
evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
I think technically Ralph is the villain in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but
true.
We won't go into that.
Yeah. Go listen to
that episode.
Yeah. Going turbo.
Mother Gothel.
Thank you.
Mother Gothel is the last evil for evil's sake villain we had. And I have to say that with the idea that you have not seen Tangled, the animated series.
Yeah.
But that movie by itself, she is evil for evil's sake.
I would agree with you.
She's got story. Don't get me wrong, because she wants to, but her entire thing is she wants to stay young.
Yeah.
And needs the flower's power to do that.
Yes.
So that whole time of that movie and everything going along with that, she is doing everything she can.
Yes.
Gaslighting her, the person who sees her as her mother.
Yes.
And that's how evil she is, and she does not care that she's evil. Now, granted, you watch the rest of the series, and you're going, you're not just evil and despicable, but you actually had a decent reason for being evil and despicable. It's not entirely your fault, but yet it is.
Yeah.
Xantiri is the one who did all that nonsense and kind of turned you to the dark side.
Kind of. Yeah.
Didn't fully make you a Darth Vader-esque killer villain, but
yeah, she go full Anakin. But
then again, go look at the first couple episodes of season 3.
Yeah, jeez.
That's how bad
she's
she is.
A villain. She's
a villain, but at that point, she's not just evil for evil's sake.
Yeah.
She's got this whole backstory.
Yeah, which is
fine. I love
good.
that for that TV show, and I like how that recontextualizes her for the movie.
Yeah.
But if you're just talking about the movie itself, she's the last evil for evil's sake villain.
That is true.
We haven't had one since then, and I want another.
Yeah, agreed.
Give me another evil for evil's sake villain that is not pushing your political agenda.
There we go.
Disney.
There we go.
And that's about as political as I'm going to get.
So yeah, McLeach.
Amazing
His
villain.
second,
my third.
Okay.
What's your third?
My third story story is freaking amazing in this movie, or be
Oh,
like
yes.
story amazing, and then you get, oh my gosh, oh, why am I drawing on a blank? Oh,
Which character? Scribe.
Oh, the albatross.
Wilbur.
Wilburn. Oh my gosh, poor Wilburn. Like poor Wilburn. He comes in a crash landing.
He's the Jar Jar Binks of this movie, but he's so funny.
Oh yeah, he is the crux of the comedy, and then he gets tortured by these little mice who are voiced by Minnie Mouse.
Yes, a horde of Minnie Mice.
And
stereotypical German Dr. Mouse.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, I obviously worked for the Nazis during the Great War.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, yes, but we can't say that.
No, we can't. Oh my gosh, but
yes, he's that kind of German scientist.
Yes. Like he's got a good heart for a, you know.
He's actually a good character, but he's got that. He's like, oh, this isn't gonna hurt a bit. Boosh! And then he pulls out the big sugar. My favorite part. Bring out the skin, some big scientific name.
Yeah.
And they pull out a chainsaw. And I'm going, what are you going to do with that?
I'm like, Wilbur, like, get me the heck out of here.
Yeah, I'm with Wilbur. It's like, I don't want to know what you're doing with that. I'm getting out of here.
But that entire ordeal is absolutely hysterical. You're like, you have a story, which is amazing. And my real point is Wilburn's torture at the hospital.
Yes,
it's absolutely hysterical the entire time. I'm laughing. I remember as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying.
Yes.
As an adult, yes, terrifying, but hilariously funny the entire time.
It's
it's more like, how much can we torture this poor bird? And also, John Candy does an amazing job as Wilbur.
Yes,
the entire time, be like, mother, this is gonna hurt. Like, hey, don't point that right there. Come on, man, come on.
I'm skewered.
Oh my gosh. But yes, every time the scene at the hospital where Wilbur is be like, oh, we're gonna try to fix your back. And it's just like one torture moment after a moment.
It's like every fear you have of the hospital happens here.
Yes.
Like, what crackpot are we gonna have to deal with? And it's not just one crackpot; it's a crackpot leading a team of crackpots.
Yes,
voiced by Minnie Mouse. I'm sorry, you watch that scene now with the knowledge that every single one of those nurse mice are being voiced by Minnie Mouse, and don't tell me it doesn't recontextualize everything.
But oh my gosh, the scene of almost pure irony is where Wilbur is able to get loose because out of sheer fear of his life, gets out, trips over the doctor mice,
yes.
And it's like he gets up, hey, my back's good, and yes. the mouse is like,
oh my back. It's like, I've seen this joke thousands of times. And I don't care.
It's so well done.
It's still hilarious.
Executed so well done.
That is slapstick at its finest.
Yes, agreed. And it'd be like it's interwell with such a good story.
Further proof that you don't hate all comedies.
No, I don't hate all comedies.
Hate one type.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, don't give me something, don't to be serious
go fully
and
satirical.
comedy at the exact same time.
Anyway,
yeah.
You ready to jump into our dislikes?
Yes, let's get our dislikes.
This is actually going to be tough.
Yeah,
to be honest. My dislike, I think, really above anything else, is the fact that this movie is so short.
Oh, okay.
I kind of wish it was about an hour and a half long because there's so many good moments that. And they're not rushed. Don't get me wrong, but there's not a lot of time to breathe.
Yeah,
it's a very tight script.
Yeah, it is tight, very tight,
almost too tight because it's like you get times you can breathe, but I kind of want this more. Like, you've got this great cap system you're showing off. Show me some more landscapes. Like, give me more time when after Jake has gotten the snake. I just realized that. Jake the snake.
Anyway,
after Jake gets the snake, show me them give me a lot more scenes of them, like just like travel scenes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of travel that goes on here, but there's no travel scenes.
No, well, there are, but it's like one. It's
very
like,
short.
It's like 3 seconds, 3 or 4
it's like,
seconds.
give me just a little bit. We get one really nice shot of the Sydney Opera House,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about as close to a look at all the cool stuff kind of scene we can do. And I guess it's because no one thought. I guess it is Australia, and Australia is kind of a desert in the center of it.
Yeah,
so I get that, but you got so much of this big area. It's like, just give me something. Like, give me like a camera flyover from like when you're moving from scene to scene, leaving Bernard and Bianca and Jake on the snake, and then kind of fly over to where McLeach is taking Cody into the lair. Maybe take a little bit longer on the scene where you're showing Cody's mother finding out that from the Rangers that they found Cody's backpack in Crocodile Falls. Give me some more of that.
Fair.
Just more time. It's like, let me live in this world just a little bit longer. I don't need songs, but to be honest, but that would have pushed it a little bit farther if we had something more of that. Just give me something more to like chew on. Give me time to not really feel like this feels like a made for TV movie.
Okay.
Like we've
done incredibly well.
Done incredibly well. Yeah. You got like 10 minutes between commercial breaks, and we've only got 10 minutes to do everything. Let's go. We got to do it. We only have an hour and a half to do all this kind of a thing. An hour and 15 minutes because you got to leave room for the commercials. So let's just go, and we'll let the audience breathe at the commercials. That's how it feels throughout a lot of this, because it's a lot of go. I like some of that go, but I want more of a, let's just get a nice calm scene of, I don't know, maybe we got one scene where Bernard was kind of feeling down that he had missed his opportunity to propose to Bianca, ironically on the snake, and he had to pour the water out of it because he got close, and then he doesn't try that again until the end of the film.
Yeah,
I know you got that 3 tries, and then it starts getting annoying, sort of thing, because he'd already had the thing at the a restaurant at the beginning of the movie where he came in, where he had a hard. Well, he did a nice Indiana Jones reference in there, but Temple of Doom. But give me some more of that. Give me more. He's trying. Give it to me where I understand why Bernard and Jake have an antagonistic relationship, so that at the end, when Jake gives him the thumbs up, you can tell it's not really antagonistic. Because the first half of this, there's a little bit of that back and forth, but it's not.
Okay.
Because Jake is hitting on Bianca, but that's just because she thinks he's cute. She's already well aware that Bernard has the hots for her.
Yeah.
Probably is trying to make it more serious, and he's kind of just leaning in it. Have him antagonize Bernard more to get Bernard to have more of the courage he needs to finally propose at the end. Make that more connected. That's kind of what I want. I just want more of the film when you get right down to it.
Okay.
I want more of the film, and it's because it's an hour and 17 minutes?
Yeah.
I want an hour and a half. Granted, I like 2 hours in some of these movies, because that's what helped Pinocchio last week, is that it was 2 hours. And it's like you had time to do stuff. Even though I had issues with the dogfish in the last one. But anyway, just give me more of this movie, because I enjoyed it so much. I wanted to keep going. Anyway.
My first is like, Cody isn't really much of an Australian, is he? Because
Cody, bless his heart, which if you're not from East Texas, you may not know that means you idiot. No, not from the South, I mean.
Right.
But Cody, bless his heart, is like Snow White. He can talk to all the animals, and they all want to help him.
Right.
He can do no stinking wrong.
That is true. But the point I'm wanting to get to,
and he's not Australian.
He's not Australian. Be like, when we first meet him, when he says, "Be like, oh, I got some sandwiches in my pack,"
Yeah.
And there's like one or two things he says that sound Australian.
Like he's trying.
He's trying to sound Australian.
To put that accent in there, but he ignores it most of the time.
It drops it like a bad egg.
Yeah.
And it'd be like the other Australian characters, like Jake. He's obvious.
Jake
Obvious
at least is obvious because
obvious.
His mother is his regular voice.
Yeah, but Jake is more because
His-
if memory serves, because initially they wanted to make Cody Aboriginal, make him
Right.
Aboriginal, but
that would have been interesting
yeah, but Katzenberg decided not to go with that because they
because
didn't
he's
want
Katzenberg.
or as they said in the article that they didn't want to play into a stereotype. They didn't play into a stereotype of Aboriginal. That was their thinking. So they made him white.
So they went with making a young Crocodile Dundee.
Pretty much. Because apparently
Young Crocodile Dundee, who does not even have the accent.
no.
Except he tries.
He tries.
a few times.
Yeah, very few times.
He tries again during the scene where they're trying to get the key. And he says, in some way, he says, "That's it, you got it." And it's kind of that Australianish to
Yeah,
it,
but
but
then drops it
then
again.
it drops it a minute. And it's not even that good in Australian. It's like consistent voice, Cody.
Mhm.
Please. I know you're a kid actor, but come on.
But hey, the kid tried. The kid
He tried, yeah.
But there was no consistency
And
in his like more of a like where was he originally from?
Outside of
voice
Australia. Oh, Norway.
Norway. Yeah, the actor originally from Norway. Be like trying to do an Australian accent, and
I mean, yeah, it sounds good.
it sounds good,
if
but it
it-
sounds
if
more
he-
like an American.
The thing is, I think I would like it better if he had just stuck with his, I'm assuming his normal accent,
Yeah,
the accent he uses throughout most of the film,
Mm-hmm.
and those moments where he tries to do Australian, if he just hadn't done that, it wouldn't mess with me that much.
Mhm.
And the reason I think that would have worked is I'm thinking back to stuff like Robin Hood,
yeah,
where everyone working for King John is from the South in England, is from the American South.
that is true.
And is talking with that southern twang,
Mm-hmm.
talking about Prince John and going to get all the taxes from the church folk, and that doesn't bother me in
Yeah.
that film. It's I joke about it because it's funny when you think about it, but when you're watching the film, it's fine. For most of this, the fact I think Cody could have been just have him do his normal voice, and no one would have cared.
Yeah, but he's fluctuating between like an Australian accent,
Right.
and like a sounds like an American.
And I honestly wish they just stuck with the American voice and just been done with it. Because, yeah, the Australians wouldn't have liked it. And sure, by that time we had Crocodile Dundee.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a good Australian accent, so I'm not going to keep doing it.
You-
But we had Crocodile Dundee. We had some other stuff this is before Steve Irwin.
yeah,
But we knew what the Australian accent sounded like. So all he really may have to do is like throw in a crikey or something.
right.
And yeah, that probably would have been enough, and just keep the American accent, and no one would have cared.
yeah,
Or just say, yeah, the kid is a transplant that they happen to move out here to the middle of nowhere, Australia, and he still has his American accent. That fixes it right there.
there you go.
Just make it where I can headcanon it without it sounding too ridiculous, and it's fine.
Right. So yeah, that's my first dislike is Cody's fluctuation between a normal sounds an American and an Australian accent.
Cody's probably the weakest character in this film
I agree.
in general, and the only saving grace he has is he's a lot better than the girl in the first one.
That is true.
Because at
Penny,
least,
right?
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I think it's Penny.
Penny. Yeah, Penny. Because Penny was just annoying.
Well,
Cody,
I would come to the defense of Penny here because Penny was actually more like there was a lot more depth to who Penny was,
right,
rather than Cody, because Cody is more like, oh,
Cody's a male Snow White living in the Australian outback. He can
true.
talk to all the animals; they all want to help him, and somehow he can save all of them from poachers.
Well,
you know what I was
it's
doing at the
it's
age?
the same way as with Penny.
He's what, 6 years old?
Yeah, 6, 7
You know what I was doing at 6 years old? Not saving golden eagles.
Obviously, because you're not from Australia.
Even if I was in Australia, I would not have been let out of that backyard.
Fair.
There's none of this running around the Australian outback. What? I can't even believe that actual Australian parents would just let their kids run around the Australian outback like it's their backyard.
Hey, when you got a very large backyard
in the 90s.
in the 90s,
This is the place where where I have seen top 10 lists of the deadliest snakes in the world, and 9 of them are in that country.
well, apparently Cody's just friends with all the snakes. Apparently. So yes, that is my first dislike of this film. You have a second?
No.
Okay.
I've been sitting here trying to think, do I really not have anything else other than wishing the film was longer? It's like, and you kind of hit it with Cody.
Mhm.
I can't really add much to that, but yeah.
I actually do have a second.
'Cause I do like Cody as a character,
Yeah.
especially in comparison to Penny, but
Mm.
just because Cody does stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
Penny is a damsel in distress for most of that film.
Agreed. And she
doesn't get anything done until Miss Bianca and Bernard get there.
Yes, agreed.
This boy didn't really need the mice to be there for a good portion of this film.
That is true. He kind of handled his own.
The only real things that Bernard and Miss Bianca actually did to help this kid was warn him that McLeach was tricking him, and then helped the eagle get out of the cage.
Yeah,
that's about all they really did.
True,
and I don't even care about that because the movie's just fun anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
Still,
so my second dislike is kind of it's more of an oxymoron of a scene. But like, it's a great scene. Do not get me wrong. So it's a scene where McLeach is taking Cody back to his hideout in the middle of the Australian outback, or in that mining area.
Yes.
So he's
open
Cody's
mines
screaming
as far as the eye can see.
Yeah,
abandoned open mines as far as the eye can see.
Yes. So Cody's screaming his head off. You can't do this. Let me out. And McLeach says something that it struck me as a chord. Struck me as a chord in this, where he says, "You got to be quiet, otherwise the Rangers are going to hear me." You're saying this in on an open microphone in the middle of the desert.
If I may defend,
you're going to defend the villain.
I can defend why he said that and why that makes sense.
Okay.
He was being sarcastic. They're in the middle of nowhere. He's saying it over the thing. He's saying, "Boy, you better shut up because the Rangers might hear you." Yeah, the Rangers might hear you. The Rangers can't see, aren't anywhere around here. He knows it because he's been out here forever.
Oh, okay.
He knows the Rangers ain't gonna hear him, and that boy yell is not gonna do him any good. Especially since now he's telling him that over a loudspeaker.
Yeah, I see your point.
That's the defense I have. Is McLeach? He's not scared of the Rangers.
He's fully aware they're not in the area.
They're not in the area.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, that being said, I know they're talking about the Forest Rangers, but because of my most recent viewing habits, I'm just imagining Australian Power Rangers trying to find this kid.
No,
I'm expecting to look up in the distance and there's some kind of Australian Megazord running across the desert.
Oh my gosh!
Actually, Car Ranger. Considering I've been watching Car Ranger, which is Turbo, just give me those 5 cars as big as houses.
Oh my
That's that visual. They kept saying the Rangers, and I'm going, it's morphing time. The Power Rangers
shifting the turbo.
Bear in mind, Mighty Morphin the movie,
yes,
filmed in Australia.
Yes.
They are in the area 5 years after this.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Admittedly, Rita Repulsa is still on her moon in her dumpster at this point in time.
Oh my gosh. So yes.
That being said, you can't tell me Cody would not have been a better version of Justin. I've got a better appreciation for Justin as a character, having rewatched all that in a more modern sensibility. But
right.
Good night. Justice for Fred. He should have been the next the next Blue Ranger, not Justin. And Cody, I could see doing this role too. Cody could be Tommy at a young age.
Fair.
But anyway.
Yeah, either or. So be like, I think it was, I just saw it as kind of funny because there again, the Rangers already looking for Cody. So why would McLeach be on a loudspeaker knowing that Rangers are out there? Maybe not in that area, but you're in open range. You can be heard for miles.
Maybe not miles enough.
Maybe. There again, just an idea. That's my second.
He knows he's in an abandoned opal mine area, and maybe the Rangers just don't go that way often.
That's possibility. That's
Now,
that's most likely why he's hiding us there.
But there is one issue with that.
Okay.
How many half tracks are in the Outback? It would be just driving around a random forest.
Probably not.
Probably just his.
Yeah.
In all honesty. And if that guy drove all the way to
That makes sense.
Crocodile Falls to throw the backpack in and then drove away to go back to his place, what's stopping the Rangers from following the half track?
That is true.
Because that is a heavy truck.
Is it
A very heavy truck, and it's going through mostly wetlands until he hits the desert.
Easily trackable.
And then it's easily trackable because you got the sand. As long as they're pretty close, it's not going to get covered up that fast. And plus, it's not even like dune sand desert. It's Australia. It's all barren rock. So I mean, it's maybe a little harder there, but still.
Okay. So here's
I guess that was my third dislike.
So here's my defense for that. And there again, I'm gonna say a joke here. Only a few people will get this. So Johanna, like possibly is going behind the half track and is wiping the tracks away. You're welcome, Ashley.
Joanna, bless her heart, ain't that fast. And plus, she's in the cab during that scene.
I know. It was an animation theory.
Plus, at that point, she's like, I just really want the eggs. Can we get the eggs, please?
Anyways, that's my second, third dislike, whatever.
I think that's my third dislike.
Yes.
Let's just go ahead and hit the ratings. What are you rating this thing?
This is a solid 9.
Oh
my gosh.
Indeed.
This movie is gold. It is a diamond in the rough as another Disney.
That's not for another couple years.
That's not for a couple of years, but this is a diamond in the rough in the Renaissance era, which has been so sadly overlooked for the other amazing Disney films that came out, post and prior to this or later after this. But this movie is so well done, animation wise, story wise, character wise. Like everything in this film is golden. Yes, it does have. It has a neck.
Sorry. Pause.
It does have. It has a neck.
Continue. I'm just trying to check something.
Oh, you're good. This movie is golden in every fashion and form, just like the Golden Eagles movie. Minus Golden Eagles don't look like that, but nuance. In research, you actually look at what a golden eagle looks like. They're more brown than gold, but nuance. This is a movie that needs to be relooked at, rediscovered by a lot of people, and it is really, really easily available on Disney Plus. You can go to the Disney movie store and purchase it there. Sometimes they do sell it in Walmarts and Best Buys and that kind of stuff. Be like, if you want to go see this film, it is very easily to go check it out, give this movie some love, and we be like, it is such a great, wonderful film with story, character, and just visual direction, everything. And it just gets overlooked between The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I think Beauty and the Beast was the next one.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
Either that or Aladdin.
Yeah, I think. Hold on. Yeah, it was Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. That's right. But yeah, people go give this movie some love. It is such a fantastic, underrated Disney film. It's not even funny. So go watch this film. Go sit your kids in front of it. I don't care if they have not seen The Rescuers. The Rescuers you don't need to
see The Rescuers.
No, because it sets up perfectly who these characters are.
Yeah, we didn't see The Rescuers before watching this as kids, and we didn't need it.
Yeah. It is a hidden gem in the Disney Renaissance that needs to be revisited by fans.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's a solid 9 for me.
I'm gonna give this a 9.5
okay.
because there's a lot about this movie that I love,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a hard time coming up with things I didn't like. Most of the stuff I came up with were like last minute nitpicks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 9.5. My biggest issue is it's not long enough.
Fair.
I want more. I guess that's the good thing because they left me wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, keep hitting the wrong button. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Got it.
Which brings us to let you know what our next film is going to be. I have stated on this podcast that there was one animated movie from my childhood that scared me half to death and I only got about half an hour through it. And I think the only reason I wanted to watch it was because Robin Williams was playing a bat. If we're being honest.
Yes.
So I honestly have no idea what we're in for next week with Fern Gully, the Last Rainforest.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why are you this excited?
I loved this movie as a kid. I loved it.
It scared me half to death as a kid.
I remember watching it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is dark. This is cool.
It hit me at the wrong time.
Fair.
I guarantee you. Because I only tried to watch it once. I got half an hour into it. And it spooked me enough that we shut it off and returned it to the video store. And I never watched it again. And I haven't seen it since that time. And I guarantee you, I don't even remember the half hour I watched.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if it was a half hour. I'm just guessing half an hour because in my mind, that's the mark where we shut it off.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Mm-hmm.
It could be garbage. I know it's going to be environmental as heck.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the entire point of it. But yeah, Fern Gully, the Last Rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not Princess Mononoke.
Nope. And it ain't Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds. What's the other environmentalist films we've watched?
Quite a few.
I guarantee you, having not watched Fern Gully except for that one time, I guarantee you I will like it more than Epic.
Oh gosh, yes. Robin Williams' performance as Batty is better than Epic. Yes, so we are watching Fern Gully, the Last Rainforest. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to see the entire film as an adult.
I've got to figure out where I can watch it.
I own it on Blu-ray.
I know you do. But our viewing habits are not where I can easily let you borrow stuff, but the other way around is a little harder. Usually.
Okay.
Because you usually like to watch the movies like right before.
Sometimes.
I don't mind. I usually try to watch it a little bit later out so I can digest it.
True.
But anyway, not important.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it is streaming somewhere.
Possibly.
Now we're both going to go look.
Yes, we're both going to look. Anyways.
Anyway, while we are looking for that, we're going to leave y'all with our intermission so that y'all can... I'll save that one for next week. Do this one. So we can jump into the next half of the show. We'll catch you on the other side of the bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest the Retro Rewind podcast. Every other week, join the Retro Rewind pod as they travel back 15 years or more along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today and what isn't. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco, Paul, the Master Interrupter Powers, and a rotating cast of guest hosts, all of which are out of time.
You're welcome, Roy.
The Cellcast would like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, and Melanie Dubois.
To get your name on the show, plus uncut episodes, early access to the Cellcast, plus reviews and special art from Jacob, please donate to us on Patreon.
I'm working on it. Sure you are. Oh, I know you are.
Artsy Stuff is the only person talking in our chat at the moment.
Thank you, Artsy.
She says, we talked about this on the show. She said Chipotle had some health food things over time, so I've been a little hesitant to eat there.
True.
And she says that she did this too. Oh, talking about freeze framing.
That's right. Yeah. We all did that.
Yeah. Then she
Slow-mo
says,
def cam,
my-
as we called it.
my dad thought I was insane. I used to always pause during the swipe frames. He was confused.
Fair.
I says, ooh, a third film? Yeah, I'm glad they kept it at 2. It depends.
Yeah, agreed.
How would it worked? Imagine Sora riding on
I saw that. I was like,
Marute.
oh my gosh,
Like,
yes.
Yes, I wasn't thinking of this movie in particular. In my mind, let me do some Francisco's Fabulous fan fiction for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh god.
How I envision this.
Okay.
I envision this as Sora gets lost like on like a regular area, like say wherever he is in Kingdom Hearts 4, that obviously Tokyo area.
Yeah.
He's there. He's trying to find a way through fighting the Heartless, and he doesn't have a good way to get through there. And then he gets help from Bernard and Miss Bianca.
Fair.
And then you have to control them to get through like some tight spots that Sora can't fit through.
Okay.
That's kind of my thought process.
Gotcha.
I don't know. They could probably do some more cool stuff with it. But yeah, Sora flying on a giant eagle, I'm up for that. She says, all the Disney villains are interconnected, lol. Yeah, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, in some ways, they're all the evil queen from Snow White.
In a way, kind of a copy, but a twist in a different way.
Yes. So you want to go ahead and jump back into it and talk about what we've been watching?
Yes.
So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
Besides a lot of YouTube, not a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah. Unless I'm completely forgetting something, which is kind of normal for me. I have a tendency because life gets busy, you kind of forget things.
Right. I mean, I have no idea what you've been watching. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay.
So I can't really correct you on anything.
But the only thing I've really watched was like on things on YouTube and are like retro
rewind.
No, Retro Rick.
Oh, Retro Rick.
Yeah, Retro Rick. He's a I want to describe him as he is a video game collector, toy collector, that kind of thing, and be like he does all these similar to what toy collectors do on YouTube. And I find myself just watching his stuff just on loops for some reason. I just find his stuff entertaining.
Right.
So other than that, not really, not a whole lot. I've been busy all week, and you get home, you're dead tired, and you just put YouTube on. Or no, I continued watching what is that show called? YouTube. I talk about not YouTube on
the history thing,
huh?
That history thing?
No. I mentioned it last week.
You did mention a history thing last week.
I did mention the thing last week. Toradora. Yeah, Toradora.
Okay.
I continued watching that. That was it's fun. The story itself seems to be or at least the character direction changes when you get past like episode 12 or 13, and it's just like, okay, these characters have changed all of a sudden. It's a little bit bizarre to me. Yeah. So be like, you've watched the entire series.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, never mind.
I've only watched 4 or 5 episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
a good show. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't one that grabbed me and said you must finish the show.
Yeah, I think I'm in that camp where I want to finish it.
But yeah, which I get.
Yeah, it's interesting, like where these characters are going, but then you have this because they'll do something with a character, and it's just like almost like a different character personality they would switch it to, and it's like, oh, they're nice and sweet, and then they switch it back towards the end of the episode. I'm like, whiplash here, you think? A little bit here and there,
Right.
so yeah, some of it was just like, this is good. Why are you changing the characters to fit your story when the characters should be themselves in your story? So
I get what you're saying.
yeah. So other than that, that's all I've been watching.
So I have just been continuing some of the shows that I talked about last week.
Right.
Starting off, I'll talk about Star Wars Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I watched 2 more sagas, or 2 more arcs in that. The first one was about the banking clan getting taken over by the Republic because well, it's all part of Sidious's plan, let's be honest.
Yes.
That was an okay episode. It was more of that we were moving slowly more towards the Empire. It wasn't a bad set of episodes, but it was just like more of this, we're got to move in that general direction sort of thing. It was great little story in with Padme having to deal with this, even though brought back Clovis, who nobody likes, and he could have stayed gone for all I cared, but whatever.
Right.
He's don't have to worry about him anymore after that episode.
True.
And then, strangely enough, an arc that focuses on Jar Jar Binks.
Oh yes,
and Mace Windu.
I remember this,
and I remember watching. I was watching this afternoon, and I'm thinking, there's a couple shots. It's like, okay, first off, Jar Jar, the most annoying character in Star Wars history.
Agreed.
Whether you like the guy or not, whether he does a good job or not, he's not well liked, and there's not much you can do about it.
Right.
That being said, Dave Filoni that knows how to write this character and write it where it's like, you don't hate him. He's annoying, yes, but it's like you kind of are rooting for him at the end. And then you pair him up with Mace Windu. And boy, the animators watched a lot of Samuel L. Jackson to get those facial tics right. Because there's a point there where there's animation there, sure, but it's more like a minute shift. And it's like, oh, that's the Samuel L. Jackson stare of doom right there. That's the you done messed up, mother father.
Mother father.
Well, I mean, it's Mace Windu. It's Samuel L. Jackson. We know what he would think.
Yes.
He does not have a censor button.
Right.
This was the guy that when George Lucas said, "What color lightsaber do you want?" he said purple. And George said, "We don't normally have purple lightsabers." He says, "You want me on this job? You give me a purple lightsaber, and it will have on as a detail the letters MF on it."
Didn't know that.
And he got it. It's not in the toys, and it's not in any of the recreations, but the actual one, the actual prop he used,
makes sense. It's Samuel Jackson.
Just always cleverly rotated in such a way that you can't see it. But Samuel Jackson at the end of the I think it's at the end of the second episode it's actually at the end of the first episode. He says, "Jar Jar, I don't know if it's this planet or what, but I'm starting to understand you." And it's like, bad part is, I think I am too. Jar Jar stinking Binks. Why does Dave Filoni have to make you an interesting character? Because we all hate him. I don't hate the actor. I think Ahmed Best does a great job as the character. But you're not supposed to like this character. I don't think. Considering George Lucas made the decision that he was going to be the one that makes the crucial step that turns the Republic into the Empire.
Yeah.
The one that gives everything to Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jar Jar. And kudos, actually. I was like, kudos to Dave Filoni for not just ignoring this character like we all wanted him to.
Mm-hmm.
Actually uses the character well, I think, because he's got like 4 or 5 different story arcs throughout this whole show. And this last one that he does is like, he actually got to be the hero for once and it was a very good hero for this whole thing. He was not just annoying. Granted, he did speak. And I just have never liked his speech pattern.
Okay.
It's not Ahmed's fault. It's the writer's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's George Lucas's fault for making him make that entire race sound like they're preschoolers. But either way, I appreciated how well it was done. And of course, I'm also going through Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger, which is, as I've said before, it's a parody of Super Sentai.
Right.
And what I'm really mean by that is it's like a Weird Al song when he's parodying another artist. The music it's still the same instrumentation. It's the same melody. It's just the words are different, right?
Yes.
This is still a Super Sentai show.
Yes.
It is well in that Super Sentai feel, which is why I think it was even as translated to Power Rangers as well as it was. It's just their choice on how things go. They go for the most ridiculous thing they could come up with and then play to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have to eat a specific type of Japanese pastry that only comes from one shop in order for the monsters to grow. And there's never a point in time where they say, "Oh, I just picked this up on a hurry from someone." Says, "No, eat this Imo Yokan from Imocho." That's what he always says every time they give him food to eat. It's like, that's ridiculous that you have to eat this one dessert from this one restaurant in order to grow, and yet I like it. It's funny. Or the fact that every time the Car Rangers come out, they say, "We're fighting for traffic safety." It's like, that's stupid. And yet there's never a point where they look at you and wink, you know? Like, we know this is ridiculous. We know this is stupid. No, they play it as serious as any other season would do, which I appreciate. You may not like as much, but I would appreciate.
Right.
And then we get to what was the last episode I watched, which was the Hot Springs episode.
Okay.
Now, there's not always a Hot Springs episode, but there's always a bunch of summer episodes where the characters might go on vacation and the villains follow them there.
Of course.
It happens. And this time it was a hot spring. And the villains plan in this is that they're going to shoot the Car Rangers with this gun that will make them want to take all their clothes off so that they will get a summer cold and be out for 10 days.
Say what?
You heard me.
Yeah.
I did not stutter. That is their plan.
Wow.
Well, that doesn't happen.
No, of course not.
Of course not. What does happen, though, made me say, what the henshin? I can't believe this happened. To use both terminologies from Power Trip and Henshin Men.
I got you.
And this will probably be what I mentioned on that show when I get ready to do that. There is a character in there that's essentially their Zordon named Dapu.
Okay.
Do you remember Mac and Me?
No.
You don't remember that alien Mac from that? Okay, so for those of you who know what that is, it's what he looks like. He looks like human-skinned Yoda, but about the size of a human.
Ooh, okay.
Just general description of this thing. He did not get to go on the vacation everyone went on because he's not technically part of the company, but he wants to. So he finds a way to chase them there. And just as the villain is getting ready to fire this, he finally makes it there. The villain fires the gun. It hits Yellow Ranger's morpher and bounces off and hits Dapu. Bear in mind, Dapu is a tokusatsu suit. He's not. He starts taking off his clothes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
First off, I didn't know those clothes were removable as part of the suit because there's been no clue that he could change clothes before this point because, it's a Sentai suit. There's no reason for them to change.
Right.
90% of the time. And he starts taking off this robe. And I'm going, whoa, I do not need to watch this. I know why this episode wasn't adapted. Why the plot of this episode was changed completely because the monster does show up in the power transfer.
Right.
But that's not what, it's just the Megazord fight.
Yeah.
It's the only part he's in. I was not expecting this. But thankfully, he moves on and says, okay, that was the little joke. We're not going to see that again. He then runs up on a pack of campers saying, I've got to find the Car Rangers. I got to let them know what's happening so the same thing won't happen to them. Like, you just saw Yellow Ranger. She knows. And you run up on these campers. He steals a towel from them. Bear in mind, he's running there. It's just, there was nothing showing that Dapu wears underwear.
Okay.
In that shot, you don't see anything,
right?
Thankfully, but I was like, "Oh, you better be doing some creative camera tricks, because this is not something I want to see." I don't want to. This is a kid show. You people know this is a kid show, right? Japan,
right?
I'm like, wow, this happens. Great. That's all I could say about it because it was like, why? It's a funny joke. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sitting here watching this and going, please don't move. Transition. We don't need to see that. There was one part. I swear, for a short second, you could see that area. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm aware.
It's very short. He's not on a regular television with the regular kind of stuff. It wouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I'm watching a DVD on an HD television. Fairly decent transfer from the type of videotape they used, by the way. And I'm going, I hope I didn't just see what I think I just saw. Please tell me you wouldn't have modeled that on this suit. And I think it was just a shadow from like the fact that he's in a forest.
Yeah.
It was like for a short second there, I'm going, awkward
is the word.
Is the word here. So yeah.
Okay.
Sentai. It's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing.
I kind of wishing I'd have picked O-Ranger right now. But anyway, because the craziest thing that happens in there is the Megazords dancing.
Okay, then.
I think. I haven't finished watching O-Ranger because I jumped to Car Ranger. But yeah. I think that's about it. Move on. Why don't we go to the news?
Yes.
Deal it. And I'm not talking.
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Deal-It. And I think the fur is gone. Thank you very much.
Apparently there was some old there were some issues from like a multiple of the previous pranks she pulled on you that had technically they should not have hit you all at once, but there was so many of them they kind of activated with the weather the way it's been.
Okay.
She got it fixed. It was
Okay.
not something this time she did intentionally.
Good deal. All right. So getting into the news, this is very weird, so we're just gonna go with it. There is a movie coming out from DreamWorks Animation. I just a good friend of the show, Heather, tagged me in the post, and
Is this the Kraken one?
yes, this is a Kraken movie.
We're getting another animated kaiju film with evil mermaids.
Nate, you want to help?
One way or the other, our show or yours.
Yes. So this summer's animated battle royale is going between the underdog Kraken monsters and the popular and self-evolved mermaids. That, according to Rudy Gilman, Teenage Kraken, DreamWorks animated latest movie, which will be released in theaters June 30th. And yeah, that's about it.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did watch the trailer.
You can't tell me who that main mermaid
Oh,
you
yeah.
of.
A little bit of a part of your world.
Yeah, red hair. Suspect has a purple shell bra, green fins.
Yeah.
I wonder who that could be. Obviously, it's the mermaid from Shrek 2.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's who it was.
Yeah, of course.
Who was also a reference to Ariel.
No, you think?
Maybe.
It's like, yeah, mermaids traditionally were more like the siren call that that would draw
They're
sailors.
sirens.
They're sirens. Pretty, to boil it down to its
if
origin.
you watched Wakanda Forever, the things that Namor's people did to make the humans just jump in the water, basically what we're talking about.
Okay, fair.
You've not seen Wakanda Forever
No,
yet,
I
have
have
you?
not.
The very beginning of that film, as they're introducing the villains that the Wakandans are gonna have to fight, these creatures start singing to an American aircraft carrier that's trying to find some research that they left on the seafloor, and they start singing, and all the humans just drop their weapons and walk off the boat.
Huh?
Or not all of them, a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
yeah, fair. So that's all I have for in news.
And I have nothing to add.
Yeah, there's literally like obviously we spoke about last week that the last trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie
there has been a lot of TV spots dropped, but I ain't watched them.
Yeah.
Because this movie no longer has to sell me on it.
Yes.
It just needs to come out.
Agreed.
Granted, I said that after the first trailer, but anyway.
So yeah.
So how about some X-Men?
Yes.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet the sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. Optimistic and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically erotic and aquatic superhero.
Speaking of Namor,
Superheroes have arrived.
X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men, come and go.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
is it my imagination or on these Disney Plus masters where we're watching them, as the video quality improved a lot
Yes, it has.
in the last couple episodes.
Yes, it has.
I that's the first thing I noticed in both of these is that good night. This actually looks like they've like vectorized all this,
Possibly.
digitally arted. They shouldn't have, but it's like that doesn't look like we're looking at videotape. But I could be wrong there.
It
I could be
be.
very wrong there.
Or it could just been an updated animation.
Maybe. We are halfway through season 2.
That is true. I'll also get to the point when we get to the next episode. The next episode we do this episode, the first episode we're going to talk about, and the second episode I'll talk about something else about that one.
Now let's go ahead and talk about that first episode.
Okay.
First episode tonight is Repo Man, which came out on November 20th, 1993, directed by Larry Houston and written by Len Wein.
Mm-hmm.
Summary for this one. After Wolverine has been lured to Canada by an alleged message from his old friend Heather Hudson, he finds himself fighting Heather's husband, Vindicator, and the Canadian super team Alpha Flight. Instead, Alpha Flight believes that they were only sent after Wolverine to get him to rejoin their team. However, their General Chasen has a more sinister agenda to retrieve Wolverine's adamantium skeleton at any cost. Guest cast for this includes Melissa Sue Anderson as Snowbird, Harvey Atkin as Dr. Walter Lankowski, aka Sasquatch, Barry Flatman as James McDonald Hudson, aka Vindicator, Don Franks as Eugene Milton Judd, aka Puck, and as Dr. Michael Tuyungman, aka Shaman, David Hemblin as Magneto,
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
Rebecca Jenkins as Heather McNeil Hudson, Renee Lemois as Jean-Paul Barbier, aka North Star, and Megan Smith Harris as Vertigo. Trivia for this one. This is the debut of Alpha Flight members, Vindicator, Sasquatch, Shaman, Snowbird, Puck, and Heather Hudson. North Star and Aurora appeared previously in X-Men the Animated Series episode Slave Island during the first season.
Yes.
The Professor, Dr. Cornelius, General Chasen, and Vertigo. Cameos in this one are Domino, Nightcrawler, Archangel, Cannonball, Psylocke, Quicksilver, and the Scarlet Witch when Jean is using Cerebro to find Professor X. Shaman pulled a large staff out of his magic satchel. This is similar to other Marvel characters, Slapstick and Deadpool, who have used similar gloves or satchels. The animation process for this is called hammer space, taking a large object out of a small space, aka Bugs Bunny, the most famous user of hammer space.
Yes.
Department H is a branch of the Canadian government that sanctioned and supported and monitored all the superhuman activity in Canada. It also oversaw the superhuman team Alpha Flight. And it's probably the first time and probably the only time I've ever heard of Canada being the villains is in this show. Is in X-Men.
Gotcha.
Because you don't normally hear about Canada doing anything nefarious.
No.
For some reason.
True.
After Wolverine is captured by Alpha Flight, he awakens shackled to a table without the upper part of his costume. But after a brief flashback, while he's still shown shackled to that table, he's now in full costume. This episode is based on X-Men number 121 and the Marvel Comics Presents serial Weapon X. This episode, which focuses on Wolverine's history, was written by Len Wein, the comic book writer who created Wolverine in Incredible Hulk number 181, though he makes a cameo at the end of Incredible Hulk number 180 back in the 1970s. So yeah, the creator of Wolverine wrote this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Indeed. That's all I've got for trivia. So what are your thoughts on this episode?
These two episodes I love because they focus on other characters. Obviously, they focus on Wolverine. We get to understand where his adamantium came from.
Both of these episodes do not have Storm in them.
No, there's no Storm whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Now, her actress is in the next episode.
Yes. But like overall, it's a good story because there again, we get more character development. We get more growth from Wolverine as a character. Hit that cue.
Well, Welcome her white. Welcome her white. She's not joining the X-Men, is she? She's just a kid.
Wolverine.
Thank you.
I had to put that bit of Storm saying Wolverine at the end.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you wouldn't know it was him. Thank you, Pride of the X-Men, for making Australia Hugh Jackman before he was making Wolverine Hugh Jackman before Hugh Jackman was Wolverine.
You're welcome, Ashley. But I really enjoy this episode. There again, you get introduced to Alpha Flight. There again, what I understood of X-Men and Spider-Man and all this great stuff, or Batman traditionally, was from these shows.
Yeah.
And so
all the superhero shows from this era literally is how I know all these characters.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because I didn't have comic books as a kid. So
yeah, me either.
Batman, Superman, anything that was introduced through the Bruce Timm animated universe, that's how I know anything from DC. X-Men, the Fantastic Four show that most people don't remember.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, I think there was also an Iron Man show, but I didn't watch it.
There was an Iron Man.
There was an Iron Man, yeah, because they actually put the Iron Man theme song in Iron Man.
They did.
And I didn't know that because I didn't watch the Iron Man show as a kid for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't think it aired around here, but I could be wrong. But
yeah, I remember watching it. But nuance.
And of course, 1960 Spider-Man.
Of course. 80 Spider-Man, what have you.
All of the Spider-Men.
Yeah. So
I knew about all these superheroes from all this stuff, never the comics. So when people tell me about the comics, it's like, that's not the character I know.
Yeah, exactly. But in this one, we do get more of an origin who Wolverine. We actually hear Logan for once.
Yeah, they actually call him Logan.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that in a bit.
Yeah. So I find this fascinating because they actually are focusing on other characters. And this one with Wolverine, obviously the next one with Remy LeBeau, aka Gambit. And I really enjoy when they start doing character focused stories.
Yes.
Minus, the dozen or times they've talked about Storm. Which
The problem-
Storm is a good character.
The problem with the Storm focus is the fact that all through season 1, we did not have character specific episodes.
True.
It was always the team. And because Storm is traditionally the leader of the team when Cyclops isn't there, there's a lot of focus on her as the leader in those instances, or at least the leader of the B group. And there was just a lot of instances was like, oh, we can have her crest. We'll show her off her claustrophobia. Yeah. And it just so happens like one of the first character focused episodes in season 2 was a Storm episode. It's like he could have waited till the end of this to pull that off, but whatever. I'm happy we're getting a Wolverine and two Gambit episodes. And I think from what I've seen, the next couple episodes are more individual character based instead of group based.
Yeah,
there are times when the group's going to come together. And of course, we still get all these great moments of Magneto and Professor Xavier walking through the Savage Lands with no explanation of what's going on, other than somehow Magneto caused the Savage Lands to happen.
Yes.
And we don't know why. Also, I think it's this episode we first hear the word mutate.
Yes.
Instead of to refer to non-X gene mutants.
Agreed.
That's the difference.
Yes.
For those who don't know, there's 5 types of characters in Marvel: aliens, humans, mutants, mutates, and mutant mutates.
Yes.
Technically alien mutates, but no one pays attention to them.
Yeah.
Because they're just mutants. They're just aliens. Anyway.
Yeah. The episode is really good because there again you get more story driven. The opening is so weird because like Heather? I was like, who is he talking about?
Yeah, I know. This episode started going, did I miss something from the end of the last episode?
Yeah.
Who's Heather?
It's like Samantha from Frozen 2.
Yes,
like,
I don't know Samantha.
It's one of those moments, but then it's like, okay, they start building up to who this character was and the origin of Wolverine, how he got his adamantium claws. I think in X-Men Origins Wolverine, they do a better job of that. The scene of which where he gets, the claws.
Yes.
No, X-Men 2. X-Men 2 is far better. But
X-Men 2 is far better.
Yes.
Because you bring up X-Men Origins Wolverine, I'm going, Bone claws. The dumbest thing they ever did.
Either or.
I don't like bone claws.
Fair.
Because they would have been worthless before he got the adamantium.
You still cut with them.
They were not really claws. They weren't sharp.
Oh, they were sharp.
No, they weren't. Not till it was adamantium. He got the adamantium on it.
Okay.
They were just like 3 fingers that would shoot out from his hands where the claws should be, and he couldn't. And I think he even got hit by it one time,
Possibly.
and it actually hurt him a lot.
Hmm.
Yes, he healed because he's Wolverine,
Right.
but they weren't the offensive weapon they would be later on.
I gotcha.
Is all I'm getting at. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so
We're not here to talk about
no
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Right. Yeah. Either or. This is a good episode. I enjoy it where we get more focused character stories. Especially everybody's favorite, Wolverine character, Wolverine.
Yes.
We get more of who he is and why he's the way he is in some ways. Alpha Flight. I'm like, when I was a kid, I was like, what is these kids? Who are all these cats? And then it's just like, oh, okay, that's who these is, because who these is,
Who they are.
who they are as characters.
They're Wolverine's old team.
Yeah, the Wolverine's old team. Like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, that's cool. Didn't understand who they were. Now as an adult, I do understand who they are.
Led by Canada's Captain America knockoff.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a Captain America knockoff.
Yeah, including the Russians.
Yes, including the Russians.
Yeah, but
Not going to get into that again because that cracks him up too much.
It does. So either way, good, very, very good story.
This is actually a great story. It's the start of the Weapon X storyline in many ways, because it is showing Wolverine's backstory without really going into Wolverine's backstory. They even call him Weapon X in this.
Yeah, they do.
Which I think might be the first time they did that. But in the show. But they're just doing so good a job of letting you know who who Wolverine is. They don't go deep into his backstory. They're going to get into that much later, or not much later, but like next season, I believe. But this season, it's just a nice story of Wolverine going to help someone. I think he's going to help someone, gets betrayed, and then Wolverine gets to be Wolverine and gets help from his old team. And I need to talk about one character on that old team that I find absolutely stupid and ridiculous. Puck.
Oh, Puck. Yeah.
Puck is literally a hockey puck. Or at least his costume makes him look like that.
He does.
And I'm going, could you find anything more racist isn't the word, because Canadians
stereotyping?
Stereotypical. You find anything more stereotypical about Canada than a hockey puck?
A bowling ball?
I mean, maybe if he fought with a hockey stick.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be worse. But that's like, no, he's got a black costume with like a sports font P on the front of it. It's like, you look ridiculous, Puck.
Agreed.
If you're going to be called Puck, dress up like the one from Midsummer Night's Dream. It still won't make any sense.
True.
But at least you're not being stereotypical against Canada.
Yes.
And it would make because let's face it, no one else in Alpha Flight, except for maybe Sasquatch, really fits that whole we're Canadian superhero vibe.
Yes.
They could be from anywhere. But then you got Sasquatch, which makes sense because he's your beast motif, or your beast Hulk thing type character. And then you got Puck. Someone who looks like he probably gets slapped around a lot with a giant piece of wood. Looks like the kind of character who is hit around. He's the red shirt of that group, except he keeps coming back.
Yeah, he keeps coming back.
I just have that suspicion. Everyone else is like, yeah, you're interesting characters. You have interesting powers. I can't wait to see you in the future. But right now, I have no idea who any of you are, and you're pretty much one character in 7 bodies, except for Vindicator, and you're just angry Captain America, basically.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode.
Cool.
Also, what's with Banshee down there in the Savage Lands? Psychic Banshee. I don't remember her name. Is that this episode? Or is it the next? I think it's this episode.
I could be.
They don't. Each one of these episodes has like a short moment in the Savage Lands, and I get them confused. But I think this is the one that has Vertigo. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. I would love to know what Magneto really did to these people that caused all this trouble, and why can they not escape the Savage Lands?
True.
Anyway, you ready to jump to the next episode?
Yeah, let's jump into Bayou Country.
Yes. X-Ternally Yours, which aired on December 4th, 1993, directed by Larry Houston and written by Julianne Clem. Every 10 years, the Assassin's Guild and the Thieves Guild must give an offering to a supernatural being called the X-Ternal in exchange for power. When it comes to Gambit's brother Bobby, who was to offer the tithing this time, he comes up missing. The Assassin's Guild wants to exchange him for Gambit so he can finally come face to face with the woman he left at the altar 10 years before. Now, the thing with this one is I do have two people in the guest cast. One is Magneto,
of course,
which is David Hemblin, and the other is Bob Zdell as Barbarous, which is the guy that they come across in the Savage Lands that wants to fight him because they hate Magneto.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's essentially all that those Savage Lands things are right now. It's like, oh, Magneto screwed us. We're going to kill both of you.
Yeah.
We're just going to see how much Magneto really hurt all these people. Everyone else in this episode is voiced by other characters who didn't, other actors whose normal, the main actors whose normal characters are not in this episode.
Sure.
And I don't have them listed. But Aurora is basically the actress who played Aurora. She's basically playing the X-Ternal. Jubilee's actress is playing the woman left at the altar,
right?
In the Assassin's Guild. And then the guy who voices Beast is voicing one of the other people in the Assassin's Guild, I believe, or the Thieves Guild. I don't remember which one. That's the thing. I don't know who specifically, which is why I didn't list them, because IMDb didn't list it. And for whatever reason, after we passed like episode 6 of season 1, all information on this show just like dwindled to as minute, to as little as absolutely possible on the internet.
Okay.
And I have no idea why. So yeah, you're lucky I'm getting trivia at all, to be honest. But speaking of that trivia, this is the debut of Bobby LeBeau, Belladonna, the X-Ternal, and Barbarous. And this episode is based upon the Gambit 4-issue miniseries, which was published literally around the same time this episode first aired. Though in it, Gambit's brother is named Henry instead of Bobby. Because they kept saying Bobby, and I kept thinking, Iceman's here?
Yeah. Bobby Drake?
Bobby Drake is, because they never said the last name.
Yeah.
They just kept saying Bobby. I'm thinking the only Bobby I know from the X-Men universe is Iceman. And admittedly, Iceman's not been in the show yet. So I'm half expecting him to be Gambit's brother in this for some reason. But he's not. Because in my mind, I'm thinking back to, no, it's only Miss Rogue that's from Mississippi. They never actually said where Bobby was from.
Yeah.
In the movie. Anyway, beside the point.
Yeah.
That's what I've got for the trivia. For
this. Okay.
What are your thoughts on this episode from Louisiana?
Or
was it Mississippi? I couldn't remember.
It's Louisiana.
I mean, he's obviously Cajun, but the Cajuns technically go into Mississippi a little.
Agreed.
A little.
So this episode was interesting because watching it, I saw the animation change slightly. Like the character for Rogue was different, and be like every other character, it's like they're off model a little bit.
Slightly. It's almost like they changed the models, changed the art style.
Yeah.
At this point, for some reason, I have to keep watching, like in the next couple episodes, to see if they're still on that style art. But
yeah,
it's almost like we hit the actual split between season 1 and season 2 between these two episodes, which we didn't. But it's about the change you expect to see there. Also,
Very
the
true.
animation smoothed out a lot.
It did smooth out
with
a
this
lot.
episode. It's almost like Disney Plus did some testing on like deinterlacing, or somebody deinterlaced this episode.
Mhm.
Take out the interlace that
Yes.
had to have been there in its original airing, and so that it would play better on our modern televisions.
Yeah.
But I mean, this looked like it looked like the episodes of Godzilla, the series
Okay.
that came out in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
So that's the thought process there.
Okay.
It kind of looked more like that level of animation instead of first season X-Men.
Yeah. But overall, be like, it's a good story. It'd be like, there again, we get more Remy, we get more, Gambit,
Yes.
and we get him to understand like where he's from, what, like, not his motivation, but it's the quote unquote the rogue character who doesn't need help, that eventually does rely on his friends to get him out of the situation he's in. But also Remy is also trying to look out for his family, because it's family, even though it's be like he's kind of turned his back on him, but he's still got to try to help his brother out.
Though I have to love the beginning of this episode when Cyclops is in the danger room and Gambit is in that control center, and he Cyclops says to turn it up, and so he turns it up a little, but then he gets the phone call and accidentally bumps it up to maximum, and apparently maximum danger in the danger room is Apocalypse.
Every villain,
it's like everyone. The Juggernaut is there.
Yes.
Oh shoot, the Red Samurai guy from the last week.
Omega Red.
Commercial. Omega Red. Yeah, it's like all these guys. It's like, dude, just shove every final villain from this show and that's been in this movie, in this show so far, just in the no wonder Cyclops got knocked out. Wolverine couldn't have survived that.
True.
And he's got healing. The only person you left out was Magneto, and we know why you left Magneto out. He was never really a villain in the show.
True.
He's only a villain for 2 episodes. And half of another, but still.
Yeah. Overall, good episode. Very well done. Animation did go up. A
lot, yeah.
It changed a bit. But there again, we'll have to see in later episodes, did that change? Did this alter the animation style in the series? Or
was this like a one-time thing when they were making this episode?
Exactly. So yeah, that is the episodes we reviewed for TS.
What I am liking right now about these character episodes is they are expanding the universe past just the heroes.
Yeah, agreed.
It's really starting to feel like there is more to this universe. Yes, we've had cameos from Ghost Rider and Captain America and a couple other characters, especially in this episode with like every third tertiary X-Men character when Jean was looking for a Wolverine, or for not Wolverine, but during that episode looking for Professor Xavier. So I mean, you do get it's starting to feel like this is a world and not this is a town where everything happens to happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It makes the idea that the Sentinels were a threat actually feel like they actually were a threat to everyone. It makes it more understandable why they brought the Sentinels up when the whole world is like this. Because so far all we knew was New York was like this.
Yeah.
Because season 1 just took place in New York for the most part.
Very true.
Some stuff in DC, but it's like still mostly New York.
And 1 episode in the Arctic.
Yeah, 1 episode in the Arctic for no reason. Well, there was a reason. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Next week, we have a 2-parter coming up on the next 2 for the next 2 episodes. If I can get there. Next week, we are going to be watching Time Fugitives, number 1 and number 2, parts 1 and 2. I am assuming Cable's coming back. Or Bishop. Or both. Maybe it's Nimrod. Who knows? So join us next week for that, along with, of course, Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Other than that, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob.
Deedlit.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
I didn't make it all the way to the 3rd grade for nothing.
Fascinating.
Was that a... Anyway, that's it for us, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I don't even know how to actually react to to your fascinating.
I'm tired. I know Drew's tired. So yeah,
it's
there again.
10:30, guys.
Yeah. And we've been at it for nearly 3 hours.
If you're watching this, I didn't mention this in the actual thing, but next week we're going to start at 6:30.
Yes.
Because we both want to. You've got somewhere to be that next Saturday morning early, and you don't want to be too tired.
Exactly.
Which I get it, and I wouldn't complain about getting out of here a little differently. So anyway, we'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to find us someone to raid. I'm glad whoever is messaging me in Discord waited till we were done with the show. Yeah, remember to mute that completely. Forgot where I was going for a second. Raid. Yeah, go Book of Gaming. Yeah. No, I read Book of Gaming all the time. Let's go to Kennetham.
There we go.
He's playing World of Warcraft, it looks like.
Nice.
Except his thing says Fortnite. I don't know which. We'll find out.
Yep.
Anyway, thank y'all guys for joining us, and we will catch y'all next week for Fern Gully.
Yes.
And I've got an ad,
Always
but that's just
fun.
how that goes.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll catch y'all. We'll see y'all later.
All right. Thanks, guys.